It was just over a year ago, March 2003, the Briar in Halifax, and Mark Dacey started well, had the lead midway, but fell apart to give Randy Ferbey his third straight championship. But a year later, this past March, and Dacey, well, it was him who came back, scoring 6 in the last 3. Dramatic comeback to win his first ever Canadian championship. Gävle, Sweden, about an hour and a half north of Stockholm on the Baltic coast, is a site for these Ford Worlds. Coming up, the men's semi-final, Team Canada against Germany. Mark Dacey and his team out of the Mayflower Club in Halifax looking to make the final, just as his clubmate, Colleen Jones, did with her semi-final win yesterday. And the winner will face Sweden in the gold medal game on Sunday, after Sweden stole a win over the Olympic gold medalist Paul Trulsen in their semi earlier today in a 6-6 tie, playing the 10th, and Trulsen out of Norway with the hammer. Pia Lindholm lying 2, and this is a case of a brushing mistake. They didn't pick this stone up quickly enough. They need a good chunk of the 4. Need the 4, and it'll come up light. The steal of 2 gives Sweden and Pia Lindholm the win, and so they are now through to the final, and wait to see who they will play, Canada or Germany. Disappointment for the Olympic gold medal winner, but another chance at a world championship for the already 2-time winner, Pia Lindholm. Good morning, Canada, and welcome to our second day of coverage of these Ford Worlds. Linda Moore alongside, and Ray Turnbull will join us shortly from Gävle. Mark Dacey goes into these Worlds and admitting that you have to change a little bit. The Worlds isn't like playing in front of 10,000 plus in Saskatoon, but he's handled all the differences very well.
Very well. When you think about the lack of international experience, which so many of these other countries have time after time, but they do in Canada have the benefit of the Briar, and Mark is showing his same kind of Briar quality play, a perfect record. Look at this. All of these categories, they're number 1. Skip percentage. Mark Dacey's been terrific. Team shooting percentage. They have stolen well, but not given up many against. They've scored lots of points, but not given up many of those against. And continued great play by both Bruce Lonis and Mark Dacey. That's the key today.
It has been a terrific debut on the world stage for Mark Dacey.
I think you always adjust your game plan to the format, and this format was such that the only thing you could earn through the round robin, obviously is a playoff spot, but as far as getting hammer and rocks and such, if you were clearly better than the field, you could get hammer. And coming into the last couple of draws, with Trulsen, having the good record as well as us, and only 1 loss, and us to play him last, we knew that it was probably going to go down to the last end. It turned out we had to run the table to get hammer. So we've done what we can, which is earn the hammer for the semifinals, and the biggest thing is we're going to have to make sure we use that, and hopefully score a deuce early in the game and go from there.
Now he plays Sebastian Stock out of Oberstdorf, Germany.
And it's not a team we know that well, but look, they do have a lot of international experience, especially at the World Junior level. A good young team, also played in the Olympics, have won 1 of the 2 Europeans they played in. A solid, consistent performance. It's a great hitting team. In my opinion, the key is himself, the skip, getting that feel for draw weight today.
They're also one of those teams that takes their lineup and flips it back and forth, as we now go to Gävle and say hello to Ray Turnbull.
Vic, Linda, the #1 industry in Gävle is the Gävle Coffee Company. You know that they produce 200 tons of coffee each day. And the cream in that coffee this week has been Mark Dacey. He's curling well. He looks confident. And it doesn't matter a hill of beans at the World Championships as long as you make the semifinal. And he's there. And Victor, after all these years, I get to open the show with a funny hat on.
Ah, yes, you do. And if you're joining us across the country, especially on the West Coast, the coffee would go very well now. And yes, after all these years, we know now that Ray is full of beans.
At some point, every truck company has to ask themselves, do we want the bed to stay on the truck or not?
Well, Canada will have a chance in the women's final to rock the world. Colleen Jones is qualified. Now it's Mark Dacey looking to put himself into a final against Sweden on Sunday. Time to read the ice now. It's brought to you by Ford, built for life in Canada.
Definitely more curl on the ice today around that center guard. 3 to 3.5 around the corner guard, from the inside out 3 to 3.5, and from the outside in about 3. More curl, that's for sure. And there's no frost, it's no humidity in the air, it's dry outside, so great on the inside. But watch the slide paths, especially in the late ends. It does flatten out, don't get caught. The Blue Nosers, they look ready.
And we are ready too for this men's semifinal for the Ford Worlds here on TSN from Gävle, Sweden. Canada, by virtue of their perfect record, will have the hammer. They will play the Red Stones. Germany to throw first. You see the skip, Sebastian Stock, is out. And the lead is 29-year-old Patrick Hoffman, who will get us going in this men's semifinal.
Well, you talked about the fact that they flip-flop their lineup, Vic. It makes it a little hard to scout this team because Patrick has played lead and second, and the second who we will see today has done the same. They've been moving in and out, and of course the fifth player coming in and out. It changes things a little bit for Canada, but truly what Canada has to do today is the same thing they've done all week, and that's put in a very solid performance.
Okay. And Ray, yes, it was a very nice hairnet. I'd like you better in a cowboy hat, though.
I'm full of beans, my pal.
Yeah, well, you're
and
there,
Linda,
you see, and we're here. I can get away with that now when you're so far away.
And Linda had this.
Yep, flying hard.
I'm just
I
thinking
had to change all my notes, Linda.
Yeah? I'm just thinking that you have to, I'm wondering if, in fact, Mark will go right after him here with that stone going behind the tee line.
Yeah, I thought he might throw up the corner guard, Vic, but he just chose to come down to it, and, of course, that's a style of offense that we see a lot, but I don't think he'll wait a long time to play the free guard zone area.
You talked about the center line flattening out. We showed everyone the last shot, Paul Trulson. Was that as much a brushing mistake, or was it, in fact, the ice flattening out when he came up light with a chance to beat Pia Lindholm to get to the final?
No, that was definitely a brushing error, Vic. I mean, I thought for a moment, I was on the side watching that, and I thought maybe he'd put it out a little bit wide, so they had to leave it, but everybody said no, it was just a judgment of the front end, and they just miscalculated it. It does flatten out a little bit in the late ends, but that really just, you could see at the hog line, or even before that, that needed brushing. It was a little bit on the light side, but if you brush it, it would have been perfect, would have been on the button.
So Pia Lindholm is through to the final. He had a big crowd there this morning, and with Sweden through to the final, I would suspect that the Gävlerinken, which seats around 6,000, might be, what, half full if they have a Swedish team in the final?
No, I think in the final you're going to see this building absolutely jammed. I really do. There was a very big crowd here this morning. Both sides of the building were full, but the crowds have been very, very small. But with Pia winning that game, it's huge for the organizing committee and the people here in Gävle. You're going to see a full building.
One of the things we're going to talk about is the speed of the ice, Vic, and one of the difficult parts is we can only give you an average speed. We've just talked about the ice conditions and the fact that it tends to flatten out a little bit late. That means that the experience, the Brier experience of Rob and Andrew is going to be very important, not just in throwing the stones, as you see the numbers come up. They played pretty well, but it's in the way they brush today. And yes, it's good ice, and Ray's talked about it quite a bit, but it is tricky near the ends of the games as to what you're going to have to do. Hits are about 9 to 9.5 seconds. Hack weight 11.5. It's that draw weight about 14 seconds. Yesterday it was a little bit slower, even 13.5 seconds. dealing with that change. Mark Dacey during the week has been the superior of the two skips on the draw percentage, and that to me is going to be very important today.
The Ice Time is brought to you by Karcher. You'll look for things to clean.
My stones work more than your guys, though. Normal.
And playoff games are funny, Vic, when we look back to the Canadian game, the women's game against Switzerland, and how that game turned around late. A lot of what happens in the playoffs is to do with pressure and the ability to deal with that pressure. Whether you're throwing the stone, brushing it, or calling the game, it's really important to be able to handle that, to perform on demand. And I think today, Mark Dacey's team, with their Brier experience, still lacking that world experience, but will do very well in that area.
The nose hit by Rob Harris leaves the Canadian stone out in front, and we're seeing now the Germans trying to force the play a little bit using that center guard, Daniel Herberg. It's been a very odd start, at least in my opinion, for Canada, Ray. Just the fact that they didn't put up those corners, and now they're going to be, if he can make this shot, Herberg, they're going to be chasing the Germans here.
Yeah, well, as I mentioned earlier, I thought they might throw up the corner too. It is at the first end, and when they get a little break there, you can see with the Germans throwing it inside, the inside shot, it raised Canada into the ring, so now you get a chance to split this a little bit, and roll a rock in behind the corner guard.
Back four.
Now, Ray, of the two skips, we would expect that Mark Dacey would deal very well with changing ice conditions. What have you seen in this German team and their ability to go with any changes of the ice, or even the stones, as you said yesterday?
It's good.
Yeah, I like this team a lot, Linda. They really, you mentioned their experience in the Europeans and his junior experience, etc. They're a good, strong team. They were at the Salt Lake City Olympics, so I think that Sebastian is getting better and better each year, maturing, and I think that he has that ability to really pick things up quickly. They've looked strong all week. I like this team.
Bruce Lonas was close. You heard Mark Dacey say he just got a little rub, and that rub probably took enough off that stone to keep it in play. It sits back edge of the 12, so Canada is lying to with the hammer here in the first. '30-year-old Daniel Herberg. His team plays out of Oberstdorf, Germany. We were there a number of years ago for the World Championships. A wonderful Bavarian town.
That's cool, so sorry. Okay. Nothing curled, man. Yeah, really curled.
Mark just having a look at the line of the stone, the German stone, top 12 onto his own to see what he can do with that.
Go board. I think this is probably better. Or do you want to try to nose it? Whatever. Board's good. What do you think? Mark?
Ray, watching that Brier final, it was Bruce Lonas who impressed me maybe the most, and probably, I'm sure curlers across the country, competitive curlers, knew of his quality, but I think he earned a lot of respect.
Oh, I couldn't agree more, Victor. He's the best-kept secret in the world. He's the most underrated player in the game, and he just showed it. Let's go back to the year previous when Mark lost in the final. In the first 5 ends of that game in Halifax, if David Nedwin doesn't make some great shots, that could have been a different result as well. And Bruce Lonas made some unbelievable shots in both those finals. He is a player, and he just goes about his job so quietly.
Well, the mistake there, the jam at the back, takes out the Canadian stone as we get ready for skip rocks here in this first. The other thing about Lonas, Linda, is that Mark gives Bruce credit when they were trailing so badly. Bruce said to him, to Mark, do you want to win this game? And it was him sort of shaking up the skipper and saying the right thing at the right time that turned around the game. And Mark said, yeah, you know what, I think we can win this game. And they went about their business.
Well, the Brier final this year, if you have a copy of that tape, that's one thing you would play over and over if you're a coach or a team, because it's not just the way they called the game and the way they threw the stones, the whole psychological element, because Mark Dacey said to his team at one point, I haven't got the feel. And the team hung in there, and Bruce Lonis, as you said the right words, and all of that gave them the opportunity for the huge, dramatic comeback this year.
Nose hit by Sebastian Stock, and so a couple of center stones that Dacey may be able to use here with his last two.
Ja, da halb versteckt sind, kriegen wir nichts mehr.
I like hit and roll.
Can't get in.
Can't get in. Sure you can. Board weight. Roll to the wing. No, you can't get in.
Well, I'll be close, but I don't think so. In front of the rocks here.
Board weight, I would think. Should be no reason why you can't get in. All you need is a third of it. You're going to roll in half stone plus.
Well, at least we're probably making sure we get our one anyway.
Right. I don't want board weight, though.
No? Control? You want more than board?
Ray, why play the hit and roll here rather than drawing behind them?
Yeah, well, that's an interesting question, Victor, because you could certainly play this wide in-turn hit down here and get around that the high guard and force the end. It's a 2-on-1 situation. You did hear Mark say, though, that I want to make sure I get my one. So Rob wants him to hit and roll in. He's going to give that a try.
Could it be, Linda, that they're just not quite sure? I know I mean, everywhere it's the same. They practice, and no different here, but why wouldn't you want to get that draw weight feeling right now?
Well, it is the timing of when to be cautious and when to go for it. And I talked about that yesterday in the women's game, where I thought Switzerland maybe didn't do a good job of managing that timing. Here, Mark Dacey wants to make sure, not knowing the ice that well yet, that he has a good chance to blank, if nothing else. And so he didn't want to take the risk, Vic, of drawing in and maybe not doing a good job of it and having a tough shot against a raised stone, because remember, the control zone, Germany was owning that control zone. So he opted for the less aggressive call and unfortunately rolls out.
Bei dir hat man so. Ich werde jetzt fast wirklich so geben, oder?
Now, with this kind of ice, Ray, where will you expect this stone to wind up?
He should get at least 3 feet of curl here. He's taking a lot of ice. He's out on the edge of the 12-foot. I would think that's certainly enough, in my opinion. It's curling more, as I mentioned in the reading the ice section, but this is a lot of ice here. But he's hoping to get it tucked in behind that yellow rock. I think Mark should have gone there. Yes, the control zone was covered, but I think against a young team like this in the first end with last rock, and you got a 2-1 situation, the worst that could have happened is you give up a steal of one. But a good chance if he had tucked it in, as Sebastian's trying to do now, you could have maybe got your extra point, picked up your deuce.
Daniel Herberg and Marcus Mesencel. Oh, good brush. Good read. Wow. Look at the curl there, Ray. I mean, that's 4.5 feet.
Yeah, that's 4 feet for sure, Vic. So it's curling even more than it was in the practice when I was down on the ice surface with the team. So that's a great shot and a chance for, Sebastian to get a feel for draw weight. He makes a terrific shot. And as Linda, I talk about so often, the game moves from the fingers to the head. And if teams get confident and get the confidence early, they can. I mean, they're capable. It's a good, strong team, this German team. So
yeah, I agree. Mark
can't run away. He can't play scared. He's got to play the game the way he's been playing it all week long, the way he played it through the Brier.
All right, Linda, they're going to draw here to get their one. Would you risk at this point first trying to run back to blank?
No, I think this is a good chance to draw it. But it is interesting that clearly Canada came out with a plan to try and keep it simple. And as Ray said, we often feel that your best opportunity against a less experienced or a younger opponent anyways is to be more aggressive early. Clearly they didn't want to, and now they are forced to draw the button, Vic.
Final stone for Mark Dacey and the Canadians out of the Mayflower Curling Club in Halifax, needing a piece of the button. And as Ray mentioned yesterday, Mark Dacey had the draw weight in his pocket the entire week. And he just reached in and found a button to take an early lead as Dacey takes stock in Gävle.
The 2004 Ford World Curling Championships from Sweden are brought to you by Karcher. You'll look for things to clean. By Nokia, official wireless phone of the Season of Champions. and by Ford, built for life in Canada.
The new phones from Nokia, the world's #1 maker of wireless phones. They put a new spin on everything you do. Nokia, connecting people.
Ever notice the way guys love to use their Karcher? Is it because of Karcher's German engineering, incredible features, exceptional styling? It's because Karcher really cleans. Karcher invented the first household pressure washer and sells more of them worldwide than anybody else. Karcher is also the world leader in commercial and industrial cleaning equipment. Everyone loves their Karcher. Can you blame them? Trust Karcher. You'll look for things to clean.
The world's largest hotel chain is almost anywhere you want to go. The world's largest hotel chain tucks you in around the globe. With over 4,000 hotels in over 80 countries, the world's largest hotel chain is Best Western, inviting you to get a good night's sleep. Best Western, the world's largest hotel chain. Call 1-800-WESTERN or visit bestwestern.com.
It's going to be the biggest curling event ever held anywhere in the world. The 2005 Brier in Edmonton. In celebration of Alberta's centennial year, we invite curling fans from coast to coast, and especially those whose family roots are deep in Alberta, to be there for the draw of the century. The 2005 Brier in Edmonton, the largest 9-day gathering of sports fans that you might ever see. Reserve your place in history now.
We like to stay fit and enjoy an active lifestyle, but we still want great taste in our favorite foods.
A healthy diet low in saturated and trans fats may reduce the risk of heart disease. McCain Super Fries are low in saturated and trans fats. Best of all, they're so golden, so crispy, and have even more delicious flavor.
Great choice. Where's mine?
Your favorite McCain Super Fries with non-hydrogenated oil, low in saturated and trans fats. A great choice in a healthy diet.
The guides are here to replace the picture window.
Oh, I asked them to look at the broken windshield, too.
Next time, insist on someone you can trust. Speedy Glass. Now earn 100 Air Miles reward miles. Plus, you could win 10,000 reward miles. If it's glass, we fix it right.
Complete listings, community information, maps, and more. Super Pages, your TELUS directory.
I used to swim like a fish. Now I swim to stay healthy. But when I've neglected my diet, I've relied on the science of Centrum daily for complete vitamin and mineral support. Centrum helps make my day complete.
When you have a migraine, you can try and turn the world off. Or turn to Advil Liquid Gels for liquid fast migraine relief.
Looks beautiful, doesn't it? That's Bunan, restored fishing village on the coast of the Baltics in Gävle. They don't do as much fishing as they once did, but you can go there and visit and still get their smoked herring from the fishermen in Bunan. And we welcome you back to our continuing coverage, second day of coverage, the Ford Worlds. Today, the men's semifinal from Gävle. Canada got their one in the first as we go to the second now and get ready to play second stones. And the Canadian second is Rob Harris.
Well, lots of rocks in play. The first stone by Canada in. Corner guard up by Sebastian Stock of Germany. Back with a centerline guard. And Germany tried to come down to the face of the Canadian stone and didn't quite get the angle. Here's the hit.
Very nice to roll it over to lie two without. Ray, sometimes I would think you go to the Worlds, and we've talked about this before, and Canadian teams have made the point. It can be more difficult to get out of your own city or zones in your province than it may be to win a world championship, because of the competitiveness just isn't there at the world level. And sometimes Canadian teams may be guilty of taking teams for granted. You didn't see any of that this week from Mark Dacey, did you?
No, you really didn't. I think those days are gone forever. I think all the top Canadian teams realize that each of the countries have one or two very, very good players. And Sebastian Stock made a statement here in this second end. The minute he had last rock, he ignored a rock on the top of the 4-foot, threw up the corner. So he wants to play the game, and that's the thing he's done all week. So it's a strong team. Mark knows that, but you don't see. I don't think anymore do we come to the World Championships expecting just to throw our brushes on the ice and win.
Marcus Mesencel with the run back, gets two, but leaves the Canadian stone still sitting shot, with now a couple of German stones out in front.
Clean. Ball in it.
To the yellow. Over curling. On its own.
Whoa.
Sometimes guarding can be a little more difficult, Vic, with the swing on the ice. Yesterday, it maybe was a little easier to get a stone into position.
Now, we are playing world rules, and while the rule books of Canada and the WCF have gotten closer, there still are some differences.
And we are playing the widest sheet of ice that you're allowed, and that's 15 feet 7 inches across. The sweeping differences have come together a little bit, but behind the tee line, it's still only the acting skip for the non-delivering team. Big difference in the time violation, run at a time, and you lose the game. But look, you do have the same amount of time, 73 minutes plus 2 one-minute timeouts. And that is new this year. Those timeouts are brand new.
And as we saw at the World Junior Championships in Trois-Rivières, only one of the coaches can come to the ice, the coach of the team calling the timeout. Any opinion on that, Ray? And the one coach as the German stone spills in for second shot.
Yeah, I think it's kind of strange, Vic, that you know, when they call the timeout, that both you know, coaches can't go to the ice surface, but obviously they feel if the team that calls it is the one entitled to have the meeting. And I don't know. I actually, Linda, looked at the rule book. Can you believe that? And because you're not here, and I couldn't find where it actually stated that in the rule book. So it remains to be seen whether that continues.
I think that was under the red wine stain. You didn't, that was hidden by the red wine, yeah.
No, it's interesting, Ray, when we've gone to look at the world rules and the Canadian rules and the discussion of bringing those two rule books together, some of the rules have come together, not all, but it isn't clear, and there's a lot of them that they're open to interpretation. And I know in Trois-Rivières, that was the interpretation of the head official there, and I'm not sure if we'll see it at every event or if they'll clarify the rule and write it a little differently. Germany now looking at a couple of Canadian stones partly behind cover.
Daniel Herberg throws the third stones for these German champions. Very nice to get them both. Herberg, a former skip. He skipped at the World Junior Championship in '95, and he's a two-time winner of a silver medal at those World Juniors. This team, Linda, as you mentioned, very experienced internationally. They played at the Olympics. They finished 6th in Salt Lake. Bruce Lonis running it back, catches it. And they started slowly, but look at the finish.
That is remarkable when you look at how poorly they did start, because, Vic, quite often it's the fact they get discouraged and don't rebound, but look at the great run, big wins, 5 in a row, and then, of course, into the playoffs.
Yep. Equip.
You do notice that the one game against Canada, that was not a good game for them, and that's the other thing that's remarkable about the comebacks. The third loss was a big loss to Canada, and still they regrouped, so full credit to Germany.
The draw actually comes out the other side a little bit as we take a look at the perfect record for Mark Dacey.
Well, what do you say about it? We talked about the fact that they've been very consistent, good shooting percentages, and they rattled off the full string to get the advantage of hammer in the first end here in the semifinal.
I look at that, Ray, and I see the win over Scotland in the first draw, and I think for Mark Dacey, that may have been a benefit to play the Scots and to get his head right into a game right out of the gate.
Yeah, that could be for sure, Vic. He got off to such a great start, and then he just ran the table. But one of the things that, you might think back to, a lot of these teams were kind of expecting or have been used to seeing Randy Furby and Nedwin, that combination here. And so they may have been taking maybe Mark Dacey a little bit for granted, not expecting the same kind of level of play. But we know this team and how good they are, and they may have made a mistake, but he's played very well. I'm surprised the way he started this game, though. I am.
Line's good. Yep. Hard line.
Mark Dacey and his first here in the second with a 1-0 lead, trying to play down to that stone just thrown by the German third, Daniel Herberg.
Right up. Right up. Never stop. Hard every inch, every inch, every inch. Come on.
Gibson and Harris will get it to the top 8.
It was 72. We're trying to sweep. Waved off lines.
No, I just asked. Did you think it was
Yeah,
right?
we thought it was like that. Okay, just let me know.
Den können wir, dann können wir 2 machen. Machen wir okay. Was heißt 2 machen? Wenn er den Fries für sich traut? Wenn wir 3 machen wollen, müssen wir da. Aber der gefällt mir besser. Der gefällt mir nicht, der tappt er dann so irgendwie, hat er immer was. Können wir doch dahin?
Schön hinten. For 2 versus 3. If they try to bury, there would be an opportunity, they were saying, to go for 3, but I think they're also saying that Canada has ways to get out of that situation, and Vic, they don't want to take that chance, and we'll just play it open.
And Ray, you probably saw as well there, if they play the in-turn come around to when he just threw that, or had his third throw, they could then, the Canadians, angle back a red stone to make a takeout.
Yeah, I think, and also there's not a lot of room to tuck another one in there, and if you set it up wrong, you give Markov maybe a chance at a double, something to get out of this little situation. He is now in a position to get the deuce, and that's what he set out to do when he threw up that first corner guard, and they just don't want to let Canada off the hook here.
Sebastian Stock lives in Bern, Switzerland, where he goes to school. He studies management.
Lang. Aufpassen. Sicher hinten aus. Ganz knapp over T. Wow, ist länger. Hinten 8 und 12. Hinten 8. Ganz knapp over T. Sicher over T.
Make sure you get it to the tee.
Alles gut. Okay. Perfekt.
Close.
That's very close, I think, for second shot.
It was close. I don't think we can take a chance anyway, Bruce.
Yeah.
Nose?
Yep.
Ray, if they wanted to take a chance, if they believed that in fact they were second shot, what would Mark Dacey play here?
Well, I guess he could try and angle freeze on the rock on the button. He could get at that. I mean, there's no way he's going to play the double run back in this situation. So he's actually conceding 2 points right here, Vic.
Wow, it's not on it yet. Right off. Right off. Wow, you got half a rock. You got half a rock.
Ray, take you back to yesterday, and what we saw in the game between Colleen Jones and Switzerland was that if you got the rock outside, you said it wouldn't come back. And while there may be more curl today,
to get T-line, you would have had to go pretty much.
Does that still hold true about getting the rock outside?
No, we're trying to get in.
Yeah, I think so, Vic. As soon as you step up the weight, they run pretty straight. That's pretty consistent across our country as well, and certainly over here in Europe. But you have to be careful with that inside-out release. It can hurt. That's what we've seen it many, many times.
So a chance for the Germans to pick up a couple here in the second. A very aggressive end by the German skip, Sebastian Stock.
Wow! Off!
Hoffman and Mesencel, the front end, back right off now. And it'll need to stop. Ruslonis now. Can't drag it through. It'll stop back 8 foot for 2. And the Germans will have the early lead in this men's semifinal of the Ford Worlds on TSN.
Tired of cleaning up pet hair all over your home? Now you can get rid of pet hair quickly and easily with the new Pet Hair Remover from Smart Pet. With its lightweight screw-on handle, the Pet Hair Remover lets you clean furniture, carpets, and curtains without all that bending. And the rounded head design gives you more cleaning surface and a longer, more effective stroke. Cleaning up pet hair is a breeze with the new Pet Hair Remover. Get yours today at these fine stores.
With ordinary lawn fertilizers, you could be taking a chance. Sure, you get nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium particles, but just how many land exactly where is random. So your lawn could burn. Luckily, there's Scott's Turf Builder, the only fertilizer with a patented all-in-one particle. Each particle has the essential nutrients to feed your lawn evenly, with no burning, guaranteed. For a thick green lawn, go with a sure thing. Scott's Turf Builder, and get a better lawn in every bag.
Canada's place in world curling has never been more prominent. As of 2005, a world championship of the roaring game will be held in this great country every year, beginning with the men's in Victoria. Can you think of a place you'd rather be next April? Ticket packages for the full event can be purchased now by phone. Get yours now.
This is where they come to play, Victoria.
Few relationships in life are more important than the one between you and your Michelin tires. Rugged, long-lasting Michelin light truck tires. Michelin, because so much is riding on your tires.
Some fertilizers lack staying power. But CIL Golf Green has double-coated nitrogen to feed your lawn continuously. CIL Golf Green. Greener, longer, guaranteed. Some brands of grass seed have weeds. But CIL Golf Green grass seed is guaranteed weed-free. Start green, stay green with CIL Golf Green.
What you see before you is nothing less than the most refined, the most sophisticated, the most uncompromising gas grill we've ever created. A gas grill designed for extraordinary performance. Because to grill the perfect steak, you need the perfect grill. Royal King. Great barbecues every time.
The NHL playoffs on TSN continue this afternoon, 3 Eastern, noon Pacific. Game 2, the Avalanche and Sharks. San Jose winning the other night 5-2 to take a one-game lead. The NHL on TSN today. As we welcome you back, this is the third end. The Germans lead 2-1 over Mark Dacey and the Canadian team out of the Mayflower Club in Halifax. Canada playing the Redstones with the hammer.
So I guess the question is, Ray, we've seen two different types of teams. We saw Germany with the hammer last end, ignore a stone in the forefoot and put up the corner guard on their first stone. And here we see Canada unwilling to do that, waiting for their second lead rock to put up the corner. So, Ray, is this something new?
Well, it's certainly a little defensive, offensive style, Linda, if there can be such a thing, in the sense that you have the opportunity with your first one. We see Colleen do that a little bit too. Hit with the first and throw up the corner guard with the second. And I was surprised a bit because Mark was much more aggressive. I watched all of his games this week, and he got at it quickly.
Do you think he's a little nervous?
It could be, Vic. I mean, it is a a world semifinal, and there's that thing that we've talked about before, the three of us, about the fact that a lot of the European teams like very much to play Canada in a semifinal because they feel that once Canada gets to the final, the pressure's off them. They're expected to be in these finals and these semifinals, and when they get to the semifinal, they're expected to win to get to the final. And so there's a little added pressure, and some of the Europeans feel we love to play Canada. We like to catch them. I know the Norwegians feel that way. We like to catch them in that semifinal.
It is interesting because it is what we see from Colleen Jones quite a bit. The reason you hit on your first guard, or at least not put up the guard, hit on your first stone if you have the hammer, is that they can come back and put up a center line guard that you still can't peel with the 4-rock rule. So you see hit and then guard. The problem is what we've just seen, that Germany also on that rock can play it off. They tried to clear it off, did roll most of the way out. So now you've put stones in a position that can be peeled. You lose your advantage with that 4-rock free guard zone rule. It isn't wrong. I'm just saying that it's an interesting way of doing it because I think this is a very cautious start for Mark Dacey, unlike what we might have expected.
13. Okay.
Yeah. You mentioned Colleen Jones. She will play in the gold medal game later today. And against, because we didn't know yesterday when we were with you, she will play Dorte Nordby. The former two-time world champion from 1990 and 91 was a winner in her semifinal yesterday over Patty Lank of the U.S. And so Norway and Nordby are into the final, and they will play the Canadians and Colleen Jones later today. Now, in the bronze medal game earlier this morning, Switzerland, Lucia Ebnother, was a winner over Patty Lank to claim the bronze medal.
Hard. Real hard. Hard! Hard, guys! Yep. Hard! Yep. Hard! Good. Okay.
Canada was looking for the hit and roll, will not get it.
Nur 13. Okay. Nase ist am Schaugut. Yep. 13. Yep.
Daniel Herberg. Now, their numbers, again, a little different, calling out 13. And we heard the 13 a lot from the Swiss women yesterday.
A lot of that is hog to far end, so that's hog to tee times that we don't usually talk about for hits, but some teams use. They are a good hitting team, though, this German team, and Mark has to keep that in mind. He can't expect to have open misses against a team like Germany. They'll make a lot of those hits, and we've seen so far they've made some terrific draws.
Clean. Clean. Yep. Hard.
Bruce Lonis.
Good. Good. That's fine.
Shot as they play up and down the sheet here in the third, in which has turned out to be a bit of a surprise for us.
So, Ray, I guess the other question would be, has Mark felt in some of his games this week that he's more of a second-half kind of team? We saw that in Colleen Jones' semifinal where she was patient, played it cautiously, and got her break late. Is that something you might feel that Mark is thinking about?
Yeah, I don't think he's pre-planned anything like that, Linda. I mean, that didn't show, if you look in the line scores, that didn't show any significance throughout the round robin. I didn't think. I mean, you have the eagle eye, of course, so, you could maybe pick that up better than I, but I didn't get that feeling throughout the round robin games at all, Linda.
Well, the one game that we can rely on a little bit is the round-robin game against Germany, and it was not like that at all. Canada took full advantage of the last rock advantage and got deuces early, Vic, to climb to a very fast lead and held on to the lead.
Well, this might turn out to be, that's just a bad break, because that little catcher over there just fails to keep the Canadian stone in play.
So you thought that was the bad break, and it wouldn't have been a really huge break on the good side if it stayed? That would have been a big, fortunate break if it had stayed in
Am Ende
play.
halt leider nicht.
Stayed in the house, that is.
Ja, vorne 12 ist auch schon gut. Ja, klar, wenn du so schaust, dass halt so weit.
Yeah, if anybody's going to try it, it had to be Rob.
Okay. Meinst du 75?
Genau das. 75.
75. 12 reicht. Okay. 12 reicht. Ja.
Ray, we refer to yesterday's ice, and you made the point that nothing climbed into the 12-foot. Do you think it'll get there today?
A better chance today, Victor, and this is a good chance to look at it right here because he's trying to get it in behind a guard that's well out in the 12-foot area, covering the 12-foot. So we'll see if it gets any finish as it moves out of the 8-foot into the 12-foot. You certainly could not get there yesterday, as you saw, but and this doesn't look like it's breaking hard either, does it?
No, right about there, the edge of the 8. You know that? It's you see it. You actually see it, Linda, straightening out.
It had a little extra weight, and that's maybe part of it, but I agree, it didn't want to climb at all. So that will mean they'll have to move the guards in further. Remember, the guard they were trying to use is actually a stone that was being rolled off, so it wasn't a corner guard placed into that position. The corner guards that have been placed up have been a lot tighter to center line.
But it would seem that if you're putting up a guard now, edge of the 8 is about as far wide as you can go.
And the advantage that we saw in the women's semifinal, if you put that corner guard tighter to center line, Vic, you can also draw from the outside around it. That was used very well in the semifinal because of the lack of curl the other direction. But it does give you that second opportunity of which way to draw around.
T. 63. Line's good. Line's good. Get it there, guys. Line's Gotta go a little. Line's good. Gotta curl a bit. Room. Gotta curl a bit. Room. Freeze.
Mark Dacey in his first. Here in the third.
No bump. You haven't got the nose yet. Gotta curl. Gotta curl right off.
The time looks good. But look at that.
Wow. That actually backed up.
It looked like it. It's a little hard to tell, but it definitely did not want to curl once it hit the paint.
That was one of the weirdest stones I can remember seeing in a long time, Ray.
Am Ende aufpassen, das schwingen sie
Yeah, there's no question. I'm right behind this sheet too, Vic, and that just straightened up. Back up maybe not the right word to use, but boy, it straightened up because out of his hand it looked very close, and the weight, as we can see, is very close. I thought Colleen did a great job yesterday, even though it was a dramatic comeback with 3 in the ninth that set up the win for her. But I thought she did a great job placing the guards in her semifinal game in the right position, as you mentioned, covering the 8-foot, so the edge of the 4, so you could come with the other turn and get behind them, and because you just cannot utilize the 12-foot.
Is there a double here to get out of it, Ray?
It's a toughie, I think, Vic. And Sebastian, of course, if they don't get the double and only the single, he will have done his job. Do you think he maybe can squeeze it through the center? But
way too thick. That's the only danger.
Yeah, that's not going to happen. Feel. I think I can carry that through, Bruce.
Okay, there's your comment. He thinks he can just catch it thin enough to go through, and it'll then squirt through the center and get the blank.
It's a good job so far by Germany, who have really kept Canada in a position where they have not been able to play the stones they want. So this is hitting for a double, Vic, and thinly enough that you can also squeeze out the shooter.
Yep. Mark Dacey in his last. Here in the third, looking for the blank. Gibson and Harris. And he couldn't squeeze it through. He'll make the double. His shooter sits back 12 for the single to even it up through 3 of this men's semi from Gävle. on TSN.
Cecilia, I have never loved another the way that I loved you.
Scotties, be soft, be strong.
The blue piece is quite large compared to
Excuse
red,
me.
which means...
You've got an urgent call from Canada.
Hello?
Buddy! You gotta come home. Tim Hortons has a maple walnut dip.
Gotta go.
Canadians can't resist Tim Hortons maple baked goods. Baked fresh throughout the day. Try them all, like the delectable new maple walnut dip.
OK Tire proudly carries Kumho tires. Kumho tires, the smooth, superior formula technology. For a chance to win, take a spin to OK Tire. Local performances daily at over 230 locations across Canada.
What you see before you is nothing less than the most refined, the most sophisticated, the most uncompromising gas grill we've ever created. A gas grill designed for extraordinary performance. Because to grill the perfect steak, you need the perfect grill. Royal King. Great barbecues every time.
In some ways, the company is the family, and the family is the company. My son has been working here his whole life and has a great opportunity to build on what was started 5 generations ago.
I feel a great responsibility to all the families who buy Windex or Glade or Pledge or any of our products.
Products that are genuinely useful to the families around the world.
This is a family tradition that I intend to carry on.
S.C. Johnson, a family company.
Honey,
Yeah?
the guys are here to replace the picture window.
Oh, I asked them to look at the broken windshield, too.
How long have they been doing this?
I don't know. They said on the phone they were fully qualified.
Next time, call someone you can trust to do it right. Speedy Glass. We've been replacing glass in homes and cars since 1946. Now earn 100 Air Miles reward miles. Plus, you could win 10,000 reward miles. If it's glass, we fix it right.
When a kid really needs to talk to a friend,
Kids Help Phone.
make sure we're here to answer. On May 2nd, join the Bell Walk for Kids in support of Kids Help Phone.
Richard, Karen says you're dumped. It's over.
Scotties, be soft, be strong.
Right now, you can pick up a Stihl VG55 blower for just $229.95 at a Stihl dealer near you. Get real power. Stihl, built to last, priced to sell.
We go to the 4th of this men's semifinal from Gävle, Sweden, here on TSN. And this is Andrew Gibson and his second lead stone for the Canadian champions. Playing the quiet tap back on the shot stone, thrown up by Germany's Patrick Hoffman. So Canada without the hammer here in the 4th, lying 1.
Well, the German stone coming a little bit too deep on the come-rounded champ gave that opportunity to Canada and got the little flip in behind. So Patrick will have to try and make a nice freeze.
You see Hoffman curling 83% through the first 3. Andrew Gibson was, or is, at 71% through 3 ends of play. Are you still a little confused about the way the Canadians have started off here, Ray?
Okay.
Yeah, I think so, Vic. They were a little tentative the first couple of ends, and that was a bit of a surprise. Even the first end was a bit of a surprise. But I mean, it's a 2-2 game, and actually we had the advantage of hearing them talk about that last shot of Mark's, and both of them together. The front end thought, I don't think you could have got it through there. You had to hit the other one, on the outside first and thin, and that was dangerous to do that. And so it's, he got he took the single, and now he's got something going right here.
Yeah, Hoffman's stone, Linda, his second, coming a little deep as well. It gets a little tougher now to get that Canadian stone out.
They're going to have to consider the front, Vic, but it's better positioning for Canada now with the two yellow stones deep in the house. It means that things can't be jammed onto them.
Nope. Tapping on its own. Stay with it. Stay ready. Whoa! Whoa! Good shot.
Rob Harris, Canada lies 2.
That works good, eh?
Ja. Von anderen Seite.
Meint ihr? Sollen wir schon machen? Okay.
If that Yellowstone wasn't at the back of the 4-foot, you could look at playing some sort of double takeout, Vic, but you're just going to be jamming stones at the moment, so rather than peel the front, they're going to try and play the other turn, come down to the stone in the house.
Keine Zeit.
Marcus Mesencel.
Auch am Ende. Komm. Ja. Ja. Hard.
Hoffman and Herberg.
Hard.
And now Stock as well. Sneak it by. They do. Now, can they drag it far enough? They can't. It'll come up light, sit top 12.
Well, that's some big mistakes. First deep on the early German stones and then light on that one. Many opportunities to get a stone onto the face of the Canadian rocks and fail to do it.
Another in turn in there? Yeah, I think so, eh?
Oh, carve good.
Oh, yeah. I was carving good with the back, eh? Make sure I got lots, though, Mark. I got to bring it down, eh?
Yeah. This is okay, too.
All right.
Similar weight.
It's a nice chance, Vic, because you can block the path. You can make it difficult to play some of these run backs. And, boy, it takes Canada out of all sorts of trouble and now puts them in a more offensive position.
Room, lots of room.
Rob Harris and his second, the former Canadian mixed champion, won that in 2002. Gibson closer to the stone. Lonas out in front.
Get it right to the floor.
Taking it right down to the face if they can. Dacey now, a little extra brush. Try and take it and put it right on the face. Boy, it's like they hit the switch, Ray.
Boy, I tell you that this young skip from Germany, Sebastian Stock, is in a big heap of trouble. The mistakes that were made, as Linda pointed out, were drastic mistakes. And the ones, first of all, being heavy, and then the one that came up light, which takes away a run back and everything. The Canadians really have things going for them in this end, and those were a couple nice shots by Rob.
Linda making a play at the stones in the house. When do you think about taking the top off and opening things up?
Well, you could do it now, Vic. You could try a double peel and open it up. They're trying to remove more than one here, at least rattle them around.
Mesencel will crash out in front and gets the high guard.
It's sliding a little better. Yeah. And I think you should be throwing the same thing, and the difference is with the sweepers.
Tight guard.
Bruce Lonas, 4 times a Nova Scotia champion, and this year winning it all with Dacey. Back-to-back final appearances against Randy Ferbey, losing in 2003, but coming back with that dramatic win, and one of the best 10th end, Ray, I can remember. I think those last couple of shots, Lonas coming around. I mean, if you're the Ferbey team, you're thinking to yourself, what a jackpot we got ourselves into. But the shots that Dacey's team made to win were tremendous.
Oh, they were fantastic shots. And And it was such I mean, after the 7th end, you really thought that game was over, and especially when you're playing a team of that level and that caliber, and boy, it was just an unbelievable finish, and you have to give them the credit for hanging in there. You're going to do the translating, of course, here, Victor and Linda, with the German. I'll handle the Nova Scotians.
Okay, all about it's all about opening it up, said Sebastian Stock. Let's just get rid of the top one. We'll try and make Linda, as you suggested, double.
Trying to run it back, Vic. It's one of those you run it back and hope for something.
Yep.
The jam leaves the Canadian stone sitting top 12.
I think, Linda, I would have been trying that double peel earlier, as you suggested earlier in this end.
Yeah, the angle was so much better when there was a little more distance between them. I think that's when I would have been trying it for sure, Ray.
This opportunity for Canada coming with them not having the hammer. As we play in the fourth of a 2-2 tie.
Whoa. Right off.
All kinds of line, guys.
Off, Rob. Off.
All right. Line's good.
Right off.
A lot of weight. Just off. Maybe 12.
Right off.
Top
Get
12.
ready.
Top 12.
Whoa.
You got 12 foot.
Gotta finish it. Yep.
We still got 12.
Whoa. Finish it. Easy. Hard. Whoa. Whoa.
Hole, that's all.
Whoa, good.
The outer hole was the shot. We didn't
Yeah.
believe.
Oh, absolutely. I just wanted to put less than that, that's all.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Little more jump to them right now, Ray. It was almost like they were sleeping through the first three. But this Canadian team seems to have heard the alarm.
Yeah, that's a great observation, Victor. It really is, because you're absolutely right. I think they're almost more confident and feel more relaxed when there's lots of rocks in play. I think it's one of those things. Whatever the word for disaster or for trouble is in German, Vic, it applies right here. They are in trouble.
Well, the same kind of words in English apply. They translate very well into German. Herberg runs it back, rattles them off the 4, and gets a lot of separation. But the Canadians are still lying 3 without.
I talked about the fact that the Yellowstone at the back of the 4-foot made that kind of shot so hard. It was difficult to get them to move much further, Vic. The fact that they got separation, as you pointed out, is very important for Germany.
Which is what he'll play, because they want to keep this in play.
Yeah, for sure. Maybe just come down and tap the 8 back.
On the out turn?
I can go the in turn.
It's better to hit on this side of it than this side of it. Right?
I don't think that matters a whole bunch.
Well, you hate to put it here. That's what I'm saying.
Let him freeze? Yeah.
You hate to put it there.
Why, you think he'd freeze? He wouldn't be shot rock.
No, he'd just play a little tap and roll. That's what he would play. Depending where the rock finishes.
I just would like to change this angle up a little bit, like tap this.
Yep.
Just come down and give the 8 a little bump.
All right, Ray, they want to tap that stone just on the edge of the 4-foot at around 2 o'clock. Just move it back. What's the thought there?
Right there, roll a little bit.
Well, one of the thoughts for sure, you heard them whispering and talking, is that there are 2 Yellowstones in there. Yes, they have first, second, and third shot, but if they don't get something set up in a different angle, all 3 of those red rocks can be moved, Victor.
Yeah, once we just throw in, we're pretty good. So about 70 inches.
And I have mentioned, Vic, that Sebastian is very good at the hitting game, so you have to be careful not to leave him any angles.
And the number, I think, Linda, 67% is reflective of the... I think a tentative start for Dacey.
Yeah, he's made one nice draw, very nice draw, but some of the play has been cautious.
You're still in the 12-foot. Get a little bit more than that. Whoa, right, whoa, Rob. Whoa. Gotta go for any top.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. No, you got nothing. Whoa, just leave it. Freeze, it's good. Freeze is okay. Girl hair, girl hair. It's not bad. That one's pretty good, eh, Andy?
All right. Well,
It's not bad.
Is he in a better position, Dacey, now, Ray, or are the combinations now better for the Germans?
müssen wir zweimal Säcken fliegen.
I think he get rid of 3 rocks here, Vic, with big weight, and you've heard Linda say he likes to throw it down, and he's capable of throwing it down with downtown weight, and I think he can get rid of 3 of them.
Nimmt den dann nicht mit, oder?
Ich glaube, nimmt ihn eher mit, wenn man leicht innen haben.
Okay. Leicht innen.
Ganz leicht innen.
Ganz leicht innen.
Wenn wir da hinrollen können.
Ja.
Ja, perfekt.
Okay.
Dann mal schauen in der Mitte. Vor allem, der geht ja auch noch.
Ja.
Also der geht nicht raus, aber der liegt dann besser. Also
meinst du Nase Peel?
Nase Peel, also wenn man Nase haben, ist auch schon gut.
Ja.
Nase oder ganz
Nose
leicht.
peel.
Ja, ein bisschen mehr.
So he's going to throw the weight here.
He's going to throw big weight, Vic, and try and blast. Now, there are lots of interesting combinations, and you have to make a choice here if you're trying to clear the 3, as Ray said you can, or if you're trying to clear a couple and set up your shooter as well. So he's got lots of combinations here.
Sebastian Stock is first. Trying to clean up here. Got 1, got 2, and the shooter will spill out the back. So he misses his opportunity to get out of it and leaves the Canadians still lying a couple with 1 to play.
Hit that one. Play it and roll. Pretty conservative, but...
Well, yeah, then he can either gamble and hit that thin and give up a bunch. That's not a bad call.
You worried about that? Well, if he hits his thin, Bruce, doesn't he lose the back 8?
Yeah. No, if we don't hit that, he's got the double for 2 if you play a guard. So that's obviously the safe shot. Then he's not going to play a double.
Yeah, if I'm perfect, if I'm a little deep, Rob.
If you put it here, he's got a triple.
Well, maybe 2 should go back. I hear what you're saying. Make that hit and roll on top of it. Let's make that. It's conservative, but it's smart.
Okay.
Andy, agree? Clean her up a little bit.
I'd really like to take one, but...
What else do you think? Where Rob said, top 8. As long as you beat out 7.
Yeah.
Take a chance at that?
Well, go here.
No, not as long as you beat out 7.
No, I mean to guard this one, though, in this line.
Yeah.
I like to go for 1. Okay.
I talked about the fact that Sebastian was hoping to keep his shooter in play, and he had to decide which one to hit first, Vic, in order to do that. He overcurled the shot, and now Mark Dacey has to decide whether to continue his aggressive play or to try to prevent, because there is at the moment a double possibility for Germany. So that's why the long discussion for Canada, and that's why the final decision comes down to how aggressive you want to be, and they've decided to be more aggressive and play a draw.
Ray, why is it conservative to play a takeout on that Yellowstone and eliminate it?
Well, if they hit the yellow one, and even if they roll over a bit, it does leave an easy shot for Sebastian to get his single. So that's why it's conservative. This way, they're forcing the hand. They want to get it into the 8-foot to beat out the outside, the back shot, and live 3 again.
No deeper.
Don't want to set up a triple. That was the only fear. But they're trying to steal the point now. They've made the decision, as Linda pointed out. It's where they wanted it, I guess, Lou.
To lie 3 without.
Shot. Nice.
Big line. Oh, big line.
So he's going to make a play and try and get a hit and roll, Vic, for the single point. It's going to be a tough one because he's got to roll almost to the button.
Ja, kein Takeout.
Ja.
Was? 70?
65, oder? Ja.
Sebastian Stock, who has a world championship already in his family. It was won by his aunt, who you know very well, won it. Amit Scholl, as part of Andrea Schopp's team that won the 1988 Women's World Championship. Final stone here in the fourth, facing three, Sebastian Stock, needing the hit and roll. There's the hit, there's the roll, needs the sit in time, and did it spin back? No. It will be a steal of one for Canada here in four.
The stage is set for another battle.
From Europe they'll be coming to win the battle at the hat. But you know the North Americans will have no part of that.
Get ready, curling fans.
The score right now is one apiece. There's no letting down. Competition will be fierce in old Medicine Town.
Continental Cup 2004. This is the grudge match for all the bragging rights. Get your tickets now and wait for the Rocks to start flying in November.
What you see before you is nothing less than the most refined, the most sophisticated, the most uncompromising gas grill we've ever created. A gas grill designed for extraordinary performance. Because to grill the perfect steak, you need the perfect grill. Royal King. Great barbecues every time.
In some ways, the company is the family and the family is the company. My son has been working here his whole life and has a great opportunity to build on what was started 5 generations ago.
I feel a great responsibility to all the families who buy Windex or Glade or Pledge or any of our products.
Products that are genuinely useful to the families around the world.
This is a family tradition that I intend to carry on.
S.C. Johnson, a family company.
What makes Standard Life different is that no matter what I do for you,
I really stand by what I say. I really believe in what I'm doing.
So whether you need a financial or an insurance product,
you will know what to expect.
Because having standards, not just talking about them, but living by them.
That's us.
I give you my word. We give you our word.
Keeping our word is Standard. Standard Life. Investments and insurance for groups and individuals.
With ordinary lawn fertilizers, you could be taking a chance. Sure, you get nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium particles, but just how many land exactly where is random. So your lawn could burn. Luckily, there's Scott's Turf Builder, the only fertilizer with a patented all-in-one particle. Each particle has the essential nutrients to feed your lawn evenly, with no burning guaranteed. For a thick green lawn, go with the sure thing. Scott's Turf Builder, and get a better lawn in every bag.
I am a curler.
A curler. I am a curler.
We are curlers.
We are curlers.
I am a team member.
I'm a competitor.
We like to win.
We are great sweepers.
Great sweepers.
We love the strategy.
I enjoy the social part of the game.
We are club members.
We are curling. Get involved. I like the people.
Curling is the best.
Earlier today, the women's bronze medal game, the final stone from Lucia Ebnother of Switzerland. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 she scores there to beat Patty Lank of the U.S. And Switzerland picks up the bronze medal. It means that Canada and Colleen Jones out of the Mayflower in Halifax, a winner over Switzerland yesterday in a game which really the Swiss let get away from them. The Canadians winning that one will play the former 2-time world champion Dorothy Nordby of Norway. A winner in 90 and 91, the gold medal game, Canada-Norway, later today. Canada's steal of 1 means the Germans have the hammer again in the 5th, Canada leading 3-2. And the rub in front on the stone by Patrick Hoffman. As you can see, the Canadian stone now covered just behind the tee line, back to the button.
Yeah. Normal.
We look for little things in a game, Vic, and that steal last end was a bit of a turnaround in the approach for Canada, putting a lot more rocks in play. And what you start to look for in your opponent is how they deal with those rocks in play. And Germany has had difficulty now responding to the come-arounds. It's the second end where they haven't gotten a stone onto the face of the Canadian stone, which is deep enough to do it, but they haven't been able to do it, Germany. So another good chance for Canada to keep putting the pressure on.
Rob Harris with the takeout. The shooter hangs on to the edge of the 12, and now it's Marcus Mezencel who'll try to come down to the stone at the back of the button. Mezencel, who won a bronze medal in his World Junior career back in 1993.
Kein Tap, kein Tap. Okay, Mess.
Taps the Canadian stone back as the Germans sit for shot.
I need edge 8. More? Yeah. Okay. Little down. We gotta go. Line's good. Top 4.
Rob and his family very involved in the curling in the Halifax area, very much involved in the Nokia Brier of 2003. In fact, Rob was part of the committee and then had to give up his duties when the Dacey team qualified to represent Nova Scotia. Boy, lovely draw here as he brings it right down to the corner. Very nice, Rob Harris. It's like you're watching a different team here, Rick.
Yeah, they're showing a little spark now, and I think, as I said a moment ago, or in the last end, I think they almost feel more comfortable when this is the kind of play that's going on. And Rob Harris, with his first one, did not want to roll over there. He wanted to kind of stay in the position in front, and that allowed Sebastian Stock to come down with that yellow stone and freeze, and now another nice freeze by Rob. So this end is going nicely for Canada at this point.
Ja, schön, Mess. Völlig super.
A little bump. Looks like the Canadian stone may be shot now.
No, but much better play by Germany, Vic, to get their stones into a good position, both where in the house, the angle onto it, staying in front of the tee line, unlike last end where everything was a little too deep. Granted, Canadian team can cover this up, but now the Yellowstone can be moved fairly easily onto the red.
Yeah, keep it out there. Hard. Line good.
Bruce is also one of the top lawn bowlers in Nova Scotia, has represented Nova Scotia at the Canadian Championships a number of times.
Just over. Good. Whoa. Don't finish, don't finish. Whoa. Sweep it.
Hat die Guard auf. Ja. Mach nur auf, oder? Okay. Feel.
Ray, as a skip, do you feel good when you've got the other team trying to open it up?
Yep.
You do, but Linda's point is well taken. Okay. The angles on the two yellow rocks are okay. They're in a good position for Sebastian, if you can get a chance to get in and use them. It was a nice guard by Bruce. And the thing is, you don't want to be missing a guard here. Otherwise, you'll see the removal of that red stone pretty quickly, because the angles of those two yellow stones are certainly in Germany's favor.
Same.
Mine's okay.
More.
Halfway. Just clean.
Thinks it's a little heavy out of his hand. Bruce Lonis.
Halfway plus.
Clearing off the front is always interesting, Vic, to make a decision as to which to try and clear, how many to try and take at once. The last time Germany just tried to take one. So now if you're Canada, you have to watch to set up the double peels and the angles onto that yellow stone.
Ja, aber sonst sind es beide Garden. Beide Garden wäre auch okay. Also beide Garden ist gut. Ja, er kann auch schlecht alles abdecken.
So Germany looking to find a way to get at that Yellowstone top four to move it onto shot stone. We'll try the double peel.
Yeah, not bad, he said, if we can get everything off.
Yep. Rüber.
And they managed to open up now the 4-foot, and the shooter rolls over to cover the 12. So it's all open now for the Germans.
Schön, jetzt haben wir noch einen Schuss von beiden Seiten.
Come right into the top 8 foot. Well, no matter what you do, you're leaving something.
Isn't that funny? That's just what the Germans said, Ray. They said, we can come at it both ways now. It's open for us both ways.
What do you think, Rob? Blast it out?
Hey?
Blast it out?
Well, that's all I'm seeing. He doesn't have much to guard this side, though.
Yeah, well, he can. Well, that's true.
What you get, we still have number 3.
Yeah,
Here comes number 1.
But you better put it right, because you show him this side at all.
As long as I show him as long as I don't show him the right-hand side of the 3.
That's what I'm saying. If you show him that
Trying
side,
not to point, Mark
No, we
Dacey,
won't.
trying not to show which side he's thinking of protecting. I'm pretty sure that Sebastian knows what he's talking about. Concern is to make sure that you don't leave this stone on this angle.
Yeah,
you want to cover this side, so the guard out in front has to be protecting that side.
Right guard. Halfway.
Next thing we'll see are skips with their hands in their pockets. Don't want to use their hands.
Like you don't want to come up to center line. You don't want to be anywhere near center line.
Yeah, it was quite a week for Mark Dacey in Saskatoon, for him to go home.
Lots of room. Lots of room.
Mom and Dad were there to watch him win his Canadian championship.
Right off.
Now living, of course, in Halifax.
Clean. Halfway tight. Gotta go. Hard. 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 Real hard. Every inch.
Gibson and Harris.
Every inch. Hard. Hard. A little more hard.
And did they protect enough of it? Did it come enough, Ray, or is that angle raised there for Germany?
I don't think it came enough, Victor. I think it's there. It certainly is. He can almost see the whole rock. As a matter of fact, he can see the whole rock.
Heck, weißt du? Heck.
He can certainly get to the nose of that Yellowstone.
Nein, normal ist wir müssen ja da drum. Heck. Meinst du so?
Discussing the weight.
Oder noch backline.
They need to cross a little bit if they can, Vic, to get a better angle. So he's playing a little quieter to try and get some curl past the guard. But there's a great view, and you're right, Ray. You can see all of that stone.
But one is never hitting one of those. The yellow one is never hitting one of those.
Okay.
So
I'm going to be on this side, probably.
Weiß nicht. Also nur wenn du willst.
Ja, schon gut, Stocki.
Ha?
Schon gut.
So? Ja, dann lass so. Ist gut. Ja, 55. So wie ich ja, genau.
Sebastian Stock.
Länger, etwas mehr. Dranbleiben.
Trying to take advantage of the missed guard by Mark Dacey. Hoffman. Mezencel got it by, got across the nose. Look at that. Very nice. And Germany is line one. Second shot is the Canadian stone back of the button.
Right, it's a very nice touch. He gets the quiet angle to make sure that he removes the shot stone. That was the key, Vic. And you're right that it is only one for Germany, but it's a much better position for that one stone. And remember, they do have the hammer.
I hit 6, hit 5 on the insert.
No. It'll hit this. A little less than half from the hack. Yeah. It's going to hit this, though. Is it?
Yeah. Ray, is he looking at coming through the hole between the red and the yellow?
That's what he's looking at, Victor. That was a very mature shot by Sebastian Stock. The weight he played, he had to get a little movement after the guard, and he did. And yes, they're looking at the intern, but they're going to lose the back one if they go that way at all. So I'm not sure that maybe angle freezing on the, or freezing right on the top one isn't a better shot.
I mean, if I'm right here.
Okay, well, let's make a decision.
Might have a shot for 3, though. He hits it and rolls into the 4-foot.
That's all you got.
What if I double tap him? Stay frozen center line side.
Well, then you give him a draw for 3.
Yeah. I don't think Garrett's the call.
Okay. Are you worried about him coming in on this side?
Well, that one or that one.
Let's go.
I don't want to waste a lot of time. That's probably the shot, eh? Right into the pocket.
I don't mind the guard.
Guard?
Well, he's going to run this one in. That's my concern for 4. So I think your call's good to be in.
You want to be in?
I do. I don't want to give up 4.
Okay, Linda, explain the dilemma here of where to go with this last one. Right now, Germany's just lying 1. What we hear is, the concern is they could score as many as 4.
No.
Well, you look at all the places to put this, Vic, and there aren't a lot of great choices. You're going to try and cover it up somewhere so that they can't score the multiple points. But if you leave a long guard, you've got raises, yellow stones into that one lonely red that's in the back of the 4-foot. So it's just one of those things where there's not a lot of choices, and it is that first stone that by the German skip that has set up this difficult situation for Mark Dacey.
Don't want to bump at all. Close line, close.
No bump. Final stone for the Canadians.
Well, no bump.
Finish, baby, finish.
You're all right.
Stay close. Yep. No bump. Freeze it.
Well, you're there.
Yeah, you don't want to move that yellow stone up or it'll be a deuce. And now, as we look at it, it's close. It still, from this angle, appears to be Canada lying second shot. So Germany lying only 1, Ray.
Yeah, I think you're right, Vic. I think it's very close, though. You didn't want to move it much further.
Grad drauf mit gleicher Länge.
So now you have to decide if you're willing to take a little chance and maybe try and rub that red one on the way by, Vic, and see if you can roll in the shooter as well as bump that one up.
So the Germans are calling the first of their 2 one-minute timeouts. And they'll call on their coach, Uli Suter. And he'll come down and join them.
Der wäre natürlich ganz geil. Dann spielen wir eher den als statt den. Der ist nämlich für 4.
Wäre ein Heißer. Geht schon, ja.
Ray, when you look at this, how do you see them? Because the Germans still think they can get 4. How do you see them getting 4 here?
Draw, und wenn man
well, they can see the whole.
Oder sind die Chancen so groß?
To get 4, they'd have to try and squeeze the top red underneath the outside yellow one. I'm not sure that's there. I can't see it
Ray, they're looking
That-
at playing
that
the
happened,
run
but-
back for that, running back the yellow one out in front at an angle to try and spill the top red one, double the yellow ones onto the back red. Boy, is that a bit of a risky shot. But it's there.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it is. That's what they're looking at. I think, Victor, that you could, as Linda suggests, you could get the 3 by just playing it quietly and trying to roll, just tick the top red one, rolling the shooter in and moving that yellow again. You might be able to score 3 that way. That's what Linda mentioned a moment ago.
Den sehe ich. Oder den Double auf den
Wir haben den hier für 4.
Den da drüben.
Also ich würde eher, ich hätte 2 Möglichkeiten. Den der Uli sagt, hier ist die gleiche Länge, die du eben gespielt hast, da leicht drauf.
Und dann so zum Third rollen. Ja, da zum Third rollen, du kannst ihn auch hinten drauf haben, also da hast
da sind es dann 2 auch schon.
ja, das ist
Ja, aber ich finde den einfacher.
Wenn du den einfacher spielst, dann spielst du den.
Ja.
Okay.
Viele Chancen kriegst du nicht gegen Kanada.
Okay. Ja, aber ja.
Well, this
Risk and reward, isn't that what you say, Linda?
That's right. This is a tough one, though, when you look at the angles and the things that have to happen, where this one has to spill, and then these come back onto this one and drive it out.
And interesting, he also said, Linda, he said this is the kind of thing they would play in Canada. Yeah, so.
Now,
he's right.
The risk I'm talking about, Vic, is not the risk related to where the stones are going to end up. The risk is giving up the good chance to score 2 or 3 by playing this, because this is a tough angle. But in a way, he's right that there isn't a lot to it. You have to hit it in the right spot. Once you do, it might just make it.
Ja, ja! 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 Ja!
Final stone, Sebastian Stock, angling it back. Has he got 4? Wow. Did he move the stone close enough, though, to pick up 2? It looks like he did. Oh, Bruce. Have a look. We're going to measure. Good try, Ray.
Yeah, it's an old trick, Victor. It goes back even to my day. But
yeah, just one.
It never worked then, and it's not going to work now.
And here's this angle back, Linda.
Yeah, it was a good shot. It was an opportunity for a relatively easy look at 2, because I do think it's 2. I think it was still more difficult than he was discussing. He called it probably the simplest shot of all of them. I'm not sure if that was true. But it's a big deuce. They didn't have a good amount of success against Canada in round-robin play. They just scored the 2 points in total in that game, 2 singles. This would be another great deuce.
The head umpire, Leslie Ingram-Brown, from Scotland, to do the measurement. It certainly looks like 2 for the Germans. That would give them the lead midway through this men's semifinal. And now watch the micrometer. And if it moves, Leslie, if you just move, please. What's your verdict? It doesn't move. It's got to be yellow. It is. 2 for the Germans. They have the lead midway through.
It's been restyled inside and out. But don't let the new look fool you. The 2005 Ford Escape can get you out of the city. Can you get the city out of you? The new 2005 Ford Escape, Canada's #1 selling compact SUV, just got better.
You gelling? No telling how much I'm gelling. You gelling?
You know I'm gelling. Hey, Ellen, you gelling?
I'm gelling. You want some melon?
Nah, but hey, I'm like mud gelling. I'm so gelling.
Nice.
Are you gelling yet? Dr. Scholl's massaging gel insoles are made from the softest gel ever created. If you and your shoes don't feel outrageously comfortable, you get your money back, guaranteed.
I'm gelling. You're not gelling. You're so not gelling.
Are you gelling? Dr. Scholl's.
Hand-picked oranges. 100% pure juice. Pour out our best. Old South frozen concentrated orange juice. A tradition you can trust.
Get right into it and out. Take control with light truck tires from BF Goodrich.
You've been waiting to do this for years. Don't let arthritis pain keep you from not starting a little something, not making your move, not getting physical, not putting it together, not spicing things up, not loving the moment, not going for it all the way. Grab some Tylenol arthritis pain with one layer for fast relief and a second layer that delivers relief for up to 8 hours. It's the Tylenol for arthritis pain.
It's showtime, and Apple Auto Glass is sending you to the movies. When you have your windshield replaced, you'll be going to the movies on us. Complimentary movie theater tickets from Apple Auto Glass. Any movie, anytime. It's just our way of saying thanks.
Apple Auto Glass. You gelling? No telling how much I'm gelling. You gelling?
You know I'm gelling. Hey, Ellen, you gelling?
I'm gelling. You want some melon?
Nah, but hey, I'm like mud gelling. I'm so gelling.
Nice.
Are you gelling yet? Dr. Scholl's massaging gel insoles are made from the softest gel ever created. If you and your shoes don't feel outrageously comfortable, you get your money back, guaranteed.
I'm gelling. You're not gelling. You're so not gelling.
Are you gelling? Dr. Scholl's.
It's going to be the biggest curling event ever held anywhere in the world. The 2005 Brier in Edmonton. In celebration of Alberta's centennial year, we invite curling fans from coast to coast, and especially those whose family roots are deep in Alberta, to be there for the draw of the century. The 2005 Brier in Edmonton, the largest 9-day gathering of sports fans that you might ever see. Reserve your place in history now.
The German team of Sebastian Stock huddling with their coach Uli Suter out of the Oberstdorf Curling Club, and they have the lead midway through this men's semifinal. 4-3 over Canada and Mark Dacey. Time to check the numbers after 5. Brought to you by True Value Hardware. Help is just around the corner.
The first number to look at, Vic, is the steal, because that seemed to turn it around a little bit for the Canadian team. They became a little more aggressive, but there have been mistakes on both sides, and that's why you see the team percentages lower than we might expect, and right now, dead even. To me, the key so far has been the German skip. I said we'd be looking to see if he made the quiet shots. We know he can make the big weight shots, the hitting game he loves, but this is an example of what's gone well so far today. This is the second last shot of the last end, and this sets up the deuce. This is the quiet tap, the hack weight that's a tough weight sometimes to play. It's executed perfectly. It's the tap-tap that sets up the possibility for the deuce, Vic.
And then he, of course, tried the angle to score a possible 4, scored his deuce, and has the 4-3 lead. It'll be interesting to see the way Mark Dacey and the Canadians approach it now, because they will have the hammer in the 6th, Linda. And earlier we saw a very, almost cautious starts. You know, they just didn't put the rocks in play. Well, in the one end that they did put lots of rocks in play, in the 4th, they ended up stealing a point. Do you think they'll be more aggressive now with the hammer down by 1 and 6?
I think so, and I think it's a good shot to do, to put the rocks in play. Now, Sebastian, remember, he has international experience, but he's young, and there will be some mistakes that we've seen it already. So I think rocks in play, just a few little mistakes by Canada or the last end would have gone better as well.
We'll take a quick break. When we come back, it'll be the 6th from Gävle. This is the Ford World's men's semifinal on TSN.
The world's largest hotel chain is almost anywhere you want to go. The world's largest hotel chain tucks you in around the globe. With over 4,000 hotels in over 80 countries, the world's largest hotel chain is Best Western, inviting you to get a good night's sleep. Best Western, the world's largest hotel chain. Call 1-800-WESTERN or visit bestwestern.com.
With ordinary lawn fertilizers, you could be taking a chance. Sure, you get nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium particles, but just how many land exactly where is random. So your lawn could burn. Luckily, there's Scott's Turf Builder, the only fertilizer with a patented all-in-one particle. Each particle has the essential nutrients to feed your lawn evenly, with no burning guaranteed. For a thick green lawn, go with a sure thing. Scott's Turf Builder, and get a better lawn in every bag.
Short.
Long.
Short.
Long.
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 Short.
Short. Long. Short. Long. Long.
Short.
Long. Long.
Long. Short. Long.
Anyway.
Short.
Why choose? Split your mortgage with the long and short mortgage. Only from Scotiabank. Life, money, balance both.
True Value Hardware roots for over 1 million Canadians who wear 2 different shoes, slide on ice, and throw stones at buttons in houses. From the regional playdowns to the Nokia Briar, we cheer them on as the official hardware supplier to curling's Season of Champions. True Value, around the corner from your house.
Ever notice the way guys love to use their Karcher? Is it because of Karcher's German engineering, incredible features, exceptional styling? It's because Karcher really cleans. Karcher invented the first household pressure washer and sells more of them worldwide than anybody else. Karcher is also the world leader in commercial and industrial cleaning equipment. Everyone loves their Karcher. Can you blame them? Trust Karcher. You'll look for things to clean.
The stage is set for another battle.
From Europe they'll be coming to win the battle at the hat. But you know the North Americans will have no part of that.
Get ready, curling fans.
The score right now is one apiece. There's no letting down. Competition will be fierce in old Medicine Town.
Continental Cup 2004. This is the grudge match for all the bragging rights. Get your tickets now and wait for the Rocks to start flying in November.
The 2004 Ford World Curling Championships from Sweden are brought to you by Nokia, official wireless phone of the Season of Champions. By Karcher, you'll look for things to clean. And by Ford, built for life in Canada.
The 6th end just underway. Canada playing the Redstones with the hammer, down 4-3. And this is the second lead stone of Canada's Andrew Gibson, the 24-year-old lead. As we welcome you back to our coverage of the men's semifinal of the Ford Worlds from Gävle. The winner of this game will go on to Sunday's final and play the 2-time world champion, Pia Lindholm of Sweden, who was a winner earlier today over the Olympic gold medalist from Salt Lake, Paul Trulsen. Linda Moore alongside, and our curling control, and Ray Turnbull is in Gävle. And I was asking Linda if you expect the Canadians to be a little bit more aggressive now, down, and we're into the second half of the game, and they have the hammer.
Oh, for sure, Vic, and we've seen it this end. They rock to the top 4 foot, then the corner guard, then the guard, and unfortunately, Andrew just rubbed the front one. He had great weight. It looked like they left it, and then they may have picked something and went right across on him. So he has another chance to come around again.
You better try to move it.
Going to move this, try and tap this one back.
That is the nice thing, Vic, about the ice that, excuse me, Ray has talked about. The fact that today there's some curl. You're not as cautious in some cases to play the more aggressive game because you can make these taps. We saw Germany do it last end, a beautiful tap. You can get at rocks that are mostly or partly buried. Yesterday with the Canadian women, we saw that was a very difficult shot.
Rob Harris rubs and rolls off. It still leaves Germany lying one, edge of the 4-foot tee line, and covered.
Und nur weg. Wegpielen, oder? Then stay. Stay? Okay.
Ja, stimmt, da liegt was rum.
13. Normal, oder? Ja, 13.
Martin Mesenso.
Oh. Bisschen mehr. Oh. Ab. Sauber, ja. Out. Okay.
And they'll sit right
Linda,
there.
you mentioned that. You mentioned that they're a good young team and they might make some mistakes. And I'm not sure I would have hit that one. I would have maybe come right around to the top of the 4-foot behind that guard again. But there's a chance here for Mark. He's going to play the run back.
That's interesting, Ray. I think the skip was talked out of that come around. It looked to me like that's where he was leaning, and the team felt that it was too early to make that move and wanted to remove the Canadian stone.
Whoa!
Finish. Caught the right hand.
Move it far enough. Well, it's close.
Little comment there, of course, when you play the raise and hit it dead on, the turn changes. You go from the in-turn to the out-turn, which means, Vic, it's curling the right way with that soft weight to get closer to the 4-foot.
Sonst so. Ja, nicht schlecht. Noch der ist ganz gut. Ja. Bisschen weniger als halb.
Daniel Herbert.
There's a run back or a double peel possibility here. He talked about the fact that he could spin that one in, but I think he was more concerned about getting the front open.
Wunderbar.
Was it Wunderbar?
Well, the objective was reached, Vic, and that's to open it up, get the Canadian stone available. He did spin another one in. At this point, I don't know how many more rocks you want behind the tee line.
Tee line.
Chris Lonis.
Roll up. Wait. Whoa. A lot of curl to do. Wait. Line's no good. Whoa. It's a little up. Close. Not bad. Coming down. Yep. Line's good. Yep. It's a little up still. Hard line. Hard. You gotta go. Gotta go.
Gibson and Harris pick it up just outside the hog line. Dacey now to join them.
I caught something, Vic. Took the other turn. Ray, has that been something you've seen a lot of this week? Rocks catching something out there?
No, not at all. Not at all. No, there hasn't been a lot of that at all. But that definitely caught something. It changed, as you say, it changed turn even.
You can see them using the eye and the hog handles that we saw for the first time in the Canadian Championships. They've now been adopted as well by the World Curling Federation. Very nice, hit and roll. To lie two for sure, close for third. Germany without the hammer here in the sixth.
Back 8.
Now, Vic, a lot of teams would go up and play the double takeout on these two stones Instead, Mark Dacey's calling the quiet tap to try and leave those German stones in play at the back of the 8-foot and look for mistakes on jabs.
Line. Room. Whoa, off line. Big weight. Off line. Yeah, still got back line. Close. Clean, yeah. Line. Yeah! Hard! 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 Wait on it! Right up. Good shot.
Ray, this is simply the experience factor, isn't it, for Dacey coming through here when he leaves the stones in play?
Oh, yeah. He loves the fact that those rocks are in the back, the tee line, and then to mention that now if he gets a chance to get in there, they're lined up so that you can freeze it on an angle and be impossible to get it out. So.
And remember, too, he loves the skins game. He was the first skins game champion back in 1989, if I remember correctly.
The angle for the double is perfect, though, for Germany here.
Sebastian Stock in his first.
Yeah! Yeah! Yeah!
Trying to hold the line. Got one, got two, and he sure does. He leaves his 2 stones sitting back 4, and then there's stones around the edge of the 12. So it's the Germans lying 5 right now as Dacey goes to throw his first.
That was a good shot. As we said, it was lined up for him a little bit as far as the angle on the double. They overcalled it a tiny bit as far as brushing, and the third apologized. Daniel said he was sorry, but it was still, again, the main objective, get the 2 Canadian stones out. On the positive side for Canada, the stones are still in a position, Vic, where Mark can make a freeze, and as Ray said, you'd need dynamite to get rid of it.
Line's good.
65.
It's a lot of weight.
Back 4.
Whoa, room. Whoa, line.
No line.
No line yet.
Wait on its own.
Clean.
On its own.
Line's good.
Gotta go.
Little bump.
Gotta curl.
Little bump on the center line, 1.
You're there.
Clean. Clean.
Right off.
Bump it a bit.
Yeah. Whoa. Get a bounce. Let it bounce. Whoa.
Needs to move it far enough and does, and he sits right on top. And so Canada is lying 1. Ray, you and I have talked about this before, and Linda, this is the difference from this level by comparison to the club curler. It's those stones that are in the rings that make you so nervous. And when you go back to that other shot, you remember where you said about Stock leaving that Canadian stone and taking another one around? It was almost if he was scared about that stone and how it would hurt him later.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen so much curling, so much excellent curling in our country now from the top teams at the Briars, etc. And we know how the rocks behind that tee line can work against you if you don't have the last rock, and work for you if you do have. And I think that earlier I would have been going around that. As Linda mentioned, Sebastian did talk about doing that, and the team wanted to play the outside hit. But he knows, he recognizes the fact that the stones in the positions that they were in were dangerous stones to be left there.
I know you can't, Linda, because you have to play the opposition stone and get them out, but you'd almost want to take out your own stones because they're going to hurt you more than...
Sure, and you see that if you have enough of a lead, if you're ahead on the scoreboard by enough, you see teams take their own stones out if they're too deep in the rings and causing problems, because here Mark Dacey has used that stone. As a matter of fact, the 2 stones side by side were the perfect situation for Mark. Even though there were a total of 5 in the house, it was still an excellent situation because you saw Germany, they looked at every which way to see if they could get that red stone out, and they're playing the freeze because it's too tough to play the hit.
Okay, that's super, Stocky. That's what we gesagt haben.
And so now, Germany left in a position that he has to. Stock has to play the freeze. A little rub and roll away, and the Canadians may be in position to get the deuce right back.
Will this be an on-legger?
It would be.
Oh! What's good? Sauber! Länge reicht. Sieht gut aus. Länge ist gut. Raus.
Yep. Yep.
Line is important. You can
knocks-
tap
Whoa,
that back one out,
whoa!
and it's not a bad call.
Swing! Okay.
Okay, Shocky.
Sharp.
Hit it. Well, kind of late. 8-1?
4-1.
Yeah.
It does appear that the Canadian stone is shot.
What do you want to do? Come in the side of it?
Yeah. Yep.
We're laying one.
So what do you do here, Ray? Just quietly try and touch that yellow stone over?
No, you draw for two, I think, Vic. You just draw to the pin.
Is that it?
If you hear the line's good, that means we're coming into the side of theirs, eh?
Right on.
Well, earlier we said that you had made the point that he had his draw weight all week.
Well, Vic, during the week he was 82% on his draws, but today Mark Dacey is down in the 60% range. So far, he made the great one in the first end, don't forget.
Yeah.
But so far he hasn't been consistent with it. This is another very difficult shot. He does have the advantage if it's curling a little bit. They can brush it. You heard them talk about that. So either the cold draw or the little rub and roll, and they'll get two.
Whoa! Lead, Jesse!
Line one. And here they go. Gibson and Harris trying to drag it for a second point. Maybe a little rub and roll this time. Nope, it'll over curl. And that will definitely mean one for Canada because they pushed it outside. It is. One for the Canadians here in the sixth. And so we are all even again in this men's semi of the Ford Worlds on TSN.
A DVD player in a pickup. What will they think of next? An energy-absorbing reinforced steel cage to protect the passengers watching the DVD player. That's what.
The new phones from Nokia, the world's #1 maker of wireless phones. They put a new spin on everything you do. Nokia, connecting people.
I used to swim like a fish. Now I swim to stay healthy. But when I've neglected my diet, I've relied on the science of Centrum daily for complete vitamin and mineral support. Centrum helps make my day complete.
When you have a migraine, you can try and turn the world off. Or turn to Advil Liquid Gels for liquid fast migraine relief.
With ordinary lawn fertilizers, you could be taking a chance. Sure, you get nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium particles, but just how many land exactly where is random. So your lawn could burn. Luckily, there's Scott's Turf Builder, the only fertilizer with a patented all-in-one particle. Each particle has the essential nutrients to feed your lawn evenly, with no burning guaranteed. For a thick green lawn, go with the sure thing. Scott's Turf Builder, and get a better lawn in every bag.
Canada's place in world curling has never been more prominent. As of 2005, a world championship of the roaring game will be held in this great country every year, beginning with the men's in Victoria. Can you think of a place you'd rather be next April? Ticket packages for the full event can be purchased now by phone. Get yours now.
This is where they come to play, Victoria.
I work for Standard Life, and I have standards.
Standards about how I live. Standards about how I do my job. How I will listen.
How I will treat you. And how I will follow through.
So when you're dealing with Standard Life,
whether it's for savings or insurance,
You know what's behind everything we say.
there's a standard.
I give you my word.
we give you our word.
Keeping our word is Standard. Standard Life. Investments and insurance for groups and individuals. Don't miss your exit. Take control with new Traction TA tires from BF Goodrich.
There are only 90,000 people in Gävle, but they have 3 theaters there. Theater very big in this part of Sweden. A reminder that a new episode of Law & Order CI comes your way 9, 8 Central tomorrow on CTV.
Einfach. Ach, so lang. Ja. Hält mal grad raus.
So Canada picks up the single in the 6th,
Hey, klein.
and we are all tied at 4 going to the 7th, and the Germans playing the Yellowstones with the hammer.
Ray, on that last stone in the last end, was that a communication error? Because it seemed like they were saying it had enough weight, and it actually was a little bit light.
You know, though, Linda, he did not have enough ice for a draw to the button. And the last thing I heard them say, well, let's draw to the pin. I mean, he could have taken another foot of ice. So he kind of was playing to rub off the top one. And for that shot, you're right, he wasn't touch light, but it was just a draw to the button. I know that it's a difficult draw, but I was surprised, and he did not have enough ice. That's a mistake that you don't normally see from someone like Mark.
Back 12. Is that enough? Nothing's going there. Yep. Whoa, 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 whoa. Yep, yep,
Rob
yep.
Harris.
Hard. Hard. Work. Hard. Hard, guys. Hard. Hard. Hard.
Sneak it by? No.
This is a great opportunity for Germany now. You see they had 2 stones behind that guard, one in top of the T-line area. The top 8 foot's in a great spot. And now with that little rub off, Germany's in control.
Oder? Das ist gut. Ja. Ja. Das ist ja uns. Ja.
Yep. Länger. Yep.
You have to decide how buried you want this, Vic, because Canada can come at the German stone at the back of the house with the other turn. So if you leave this open, it's not all wrong. You have it to bump up and to use.
Yep. Yep. Und leicht zur Mitte. Okay. Wunderbar.
A little roll, and it 3/4 to almost buried behind that off-center guard. And the Germans are lying 3. Remember, they do have the hammer here in this 7th.
I was fine.
Hey.
Fine last time?
The weight was fine, yeah.
Just back 12.
Try to get a little bit inside on
That's
that.
what I want to know, where it was. It was back 12?
Same weight.
You could play normal hit, double out the 2, the one that you're aiming at that's wide open and the one in behind it. But Mark's trying to rearrange things to start to get a better setup to get a stone into shot stone or second shot rock position and covered.
Hurry. Right up. Hurry. Whoa. Hurry. Yep. Hurry.
Big scrub from Gibson and Lonis.
Not bad.
So the Canadian stone will sit for 3rd shot, but there is some backing now.
Ganz gut, der. Mach den. Ja. Schwimmern.
And Ray, it gets the German skip Stock to think a little bit with that Canadian stone now in play.
It does, boy. That really moved across. You heard Rob say, boy, that warped, and it certainly did. It looked like it was going to be perfect. Just kick by the top one and freeze on the angle of the back one. But Canada is in trouble here. Another good shot could really put the pressure on Mark Dacey. And correct me if I'm wrong, Linda, but did you not sense that the Germans look a lot more relaxed than the Canadian team does? And that's the kind of thing that I talked about earlier, that they feel that in the semifinal, there's a lot of extra pressure on Canada, and you can certainly get that feeling here.
No, it's definitely true that the German team has experience, but most of it at the junior level or the European level. So for them, the fact that they're in the semifinals playing Canada is just amazing in some ways. You know, they're very pleased, and they are more relaxed at the moment, and that is showing.
I think from the very first stone, actually. I think from that very first end, we saw the Canadians not on top of their game. They missed some shots. We saw Bruce, we saw Mark. Now he made a great draw to get it to a single point, but they just, even the communication wasn't there to start, Linda.
And I think to start, though, Vic, sometimes that does happen until you shake off some of those nerves. The first end is sometimes a little bit that way. But I thought with the steal in 4, Canada was starting to turn it around and making some better shots. But to me, the 5th end break meant that Canada looked a little unnerved again, coming out a little bit cautious, making some mistakes.
Bruce Lonis.
Nice line. Hard, guys.
Never let up on this one. Gibson and Harris. And the rub again in front.
Little mistakes.
Is it the ice reading here that's messing them up, Ray?
It's just little things. It's just that's one of them a little bit, Vic, I think, and thought process too. Just, you know, Linda, it's Mark's first Worlds, and we talk about first Briers and first Scots and stuff like that. And, you know, oddly enough, I was talking to Don Pottinger, who was here coaching the American team. It was son Doug playing for them. And he was saying, Ray, the team I really like, Don being from Brandon, I know him very well, said, I really like this young German team. They've got lots of junior experience and experience, but he said they're really cool kids. And, boy, I tell you, those comments of his are starting to show clearly here.
Wow. Look at that. 5 yellows. Germany lying 5 with the hammer.
Now, Mark was playing with a little bit of fire earlier when he was leaving stones. I mentioned he could have played a double, but was trying to maneuver stones. And as Ray has said, it's the little things this end that haven't gone well, the little rubs. And so you took some chances, didn't make the big shot, and now you're going to have to really make a great freeze, a come-around freeze in this case, for Mark and the boys to get out of this really bad situation.
Bruce Lonis. Desperate. Again, right out of his hand. Gibson and Harris pick him up.
Hard, you got it, hard. Hard. Hard.
Get it by the stone top 12, and they can't again. And they know they're in
trouble in River City.
You bet. No
Den
talk between the two of them.
This is one of those cases where Germany would love to get rid of the Canadian stones, Vic, because they're usable for Mark Dacey, so a little call about trying to make a play on those. The one thing you've got to make sure if you're Germany, though, is that you don't just rearrange things and leave a better situation for Canada. Right now, Mark's got a really tough angle raise.
Oder gar hier. Wäre noch besser. Hauptsache, es ist weg hier. Selbst wenn wir ihn bloß so haben. Mein Gott. Peel.
As Daniel Herberg makes his way down, what is he looking for, Linda? A little hit and roll?
That's right, hitting the stone that where the broom is positioned right over top, hitting that one and rolling in behind the red, trying to cut off the draw and the raise for Mark Dacey.
Auf! Niemand! Swing! Yep! Whoa! Whoa! Yep! Whoa!
There's the hit, there's the flip, and it'll spill in. and spill right to the lid. Now, is that a break for the Canadians, Ray?
Yes. Absolutely yes.
It was one of those.
Absolutely. Excuse me, Linda. That is the worst spot that the rock could end up for Germany.
It was funny, Ray, because I think Sebastian was calling out to brush, and it definitely needed to be brushed to stay straighter, to get just the roll and not push the other Canadian stone away.
No bump. Top board, no bump.
It's an amazing turnaround. In some ways, Vic, right back to our discussion earlier about the numbers of rocks in play. Yes, Germany's in a good spot, and yes, Mark must make a very good shot, but he has a shot, and that is a freeze.
And you heard him say, no bump. Right down to the face, sit on it, no bump. Skip stones here in the 7th, and the house is painted yellow right now.
This is where you rely on all those times that you've had to throw big draws. Mark, this year at the Brier in the final had to make some big draws. You've got to plant that positive thing in your head and just throw the perfect draw.
Just there. Line's going up!
Gibson Harris trying to hold the line. Little rub and roll down on top. Oh, my. How good was that, Ray, with the little rub?
Well, I can tell you, Vic, that rock is absolutely glued to that one. I mean, you can hit it, yes, it's wide open, and you can remove the back yellow, but the red stone is going absolutely nowhere. And they just, the shot previous to that is what really caused that problem. They're going to, try and take a big run at this and remove the back one behind it, because it still is a problem for Canada with so many yellow stones in the rings without having last rock. But that one is glued.
Die andere Möglichkeit, die wir noch hätten, nur zum Überlegen, Backline, wir haben beide Garden.
Er legt uns nochmal ein, genau rein.
Das stimmt.
Er legt uns nochmal ein, genau rein. Wir müssen da jetzt hin, selber.
Oder sollen wir kurz ein Timeout nehmen?
Ha?
Oder sollen wir Timeout nehmen?
Ich würde nicht.
Okay.
Okay, so Herberg wants to take a timeout. Stock says he doesn't. Thought, Linda, if I understand it, and the high German I have a little more difficulty with, is that we're still going to lie 3 if we can get rid of the stones we want to remove here.
Well, at the moment, all he can do is exchange shots and hope that he's going to have something with his last one. And I don't see anything else. Ray, do you? Just try to hit it on the nose?
Not if there's not something new in the game.
Sebastian Stock and his first. And there's the exchange. And so Canada is the shot stone for the moment. Boy, it's really turned around for Stock, huh?
As long as we're on the nose, that even if we tap it a hair.
But it's funny, Vic, when we go back to the hit and roll that Germany tried, and I said at the time that you have to be careful if you go to open it up, what you leave them. Yes, you take away the raise, but of the two choices, an angle raise that's 6 feet long versus a freeze where you have a couple of options, Mark Dacey was very happy that Sebastian opened it up and gave him a chance to place something into the 4-foot area. So now Mark has a chance to make a play on the other German stone, the other side of the 4-foot, and Sebastian's going to have his end taken away.
So where does he go with this one, Ray? Dacey in his last?
Yes, he's freezing right down to the face of the one that's at the back of the 4-foot. You heard him say, we can even bump it. We just got to get that rock in there. They got to wait for it to curl here. It's outside a little bit. The weight looks all right, but he's got it outside a bit.
It's really got to curl. Hard, Bruce. Hard!
So Canada is shot stone. Second,
yeah,
third,
not for long.
Fourth belong to Germany.
Ray, was that just too much ice, or do you think Mark was outside?
No, I think he got it outside a little bit, and because the weight was fine, he couldn't come up short. He wanted to get down to it. He said, I can just touch it back, but he had to get to the face of it. And I just think that either, he got it outside a little bit and it ran straight down on him. That's my impression of what happened there. And the ice looked okay to me. There certainly has been some movement there, but now this is a disaster once again.
Well, the Germans are salivating. Yeah, the Germans are salivating
hit for 4,
here.
I think it is.
It's 5.
Kleines bisschen mehr.
It's a possibility of 5.
Normal, Nase.
And they're high-fiving before they go.
Well, it's an amazing opportunity. These rocks are frozen anywhere on that one, Vic, and the red one goes.
What a chance for the Germans. And Sebastian Stock here in the 7th.
Swing, back.
How many will it be? 1, 2, 3, and 4 it is. As Lonas checks. To make sure. 4 for the Germans, and they lead it 8-4 through 7th.
Remember what your wife told you. Yeah, that one. Cut a nail.
Softness you'll notice.
As official supplier to Curling's Season of Champions, True Value Hardware presents quality products for your house. True Value paint, made by us and made to last. We own the factory. We test and retest our paint. We guarantee it every can at every store. True Value, around the corner from your house.
Hand-picked oranges. 100% pure juice. Pour out our best. Old South frozen concentrated orange juice. A tradition you can trust.
In some ways, the company is the family and the family is the company. My son has been working here his whole life and has a great opportunity to build on what was started 5 generations ago.
I feel a great responsibility to all the families who buy Windex or Glade or Pledge or any of our products.
Products that are genuinely useful to the families around the world.
This is a family tradition that I intend to carry on.
S.C. Johnson, a family company. The world's largest hotel chain is almost anywhere you want to go. The world's largest hotel chain tucks you in around the globe. With over 4,000 hotels in over 80 countries, the world's largest hotel chain is Best Western, inviting you to get a good night's sleep. Best Western, the world's largest hotel chain. Call 1-800-WESTERN or visit bestwestern.com.
Ever notice the way guys love to use their Karcher? Is it because of Karcher's German engineering, incredible features, exceptional styling? It's because Karcher really cleans. Karcher invented the first household pressure washer and sells more of them worldwide than anybody else. Karcher is also the world leader in commercial and industrial cleaning equipment. Everyone loves their Karcher. Can you blame them? Trust Karcher. You'll look for things to clean.
Welcome back to TSN's coverage of the men's semifinal from the Ford Worlds in Gävle. And after an explosive 4 by Germany, they lead 8-4 as we go to the 8th. First stone thrown through by the Germans. Then Andrew Gibson put his stone mistakenly in. And the Germans played the hit on it, and now this is Gibson's second. And this is a familiar scenario to Mark Dacey and the Canadian team, Linda.
Well, when we talk about the fact that you've got a German team, Vic, that's playing very well. Look at the lead on the German team. 82%. He's throwing very well today. They're a confident team. I don't know if they saw the Brier final or a replay of it, but they do know that the one thing they can't do against Canada is leave rocks in play, and they are playing this end as open as they possibly can, and they got the break on Andrew Gibson-Stone coming in, so they can play hits.
Ray, this is exactly the scenario from Saskatoon in the final when Randy Ferbey was up 8-4.
Yeah, it's deja vu for sure. I mean, but that was a golden opportunity at last end for Mark to get out of it, and he got the break when the rock went to the back of the button. He made the great freeze, and then he just had to come down to the face of the stone that was in the back of the forefoote and put it outside a little bit, I think. But and then it never rains, but it pours, and then Andrew Gibson throws his first one into the rings, unfortunately.
Pretty even at the second position. We have seen mistakes by both sides, but it is a German team that I think you pointed out, Vic, is looking confident. As we close the game, it is that little intangible of confidence about how you're playing. With Rob struggling a bit at draws, we know that Canada is going to need some big draws. Remembering back to that Brier final, Mark Dacey got 3 in the 8th end, gave up 1 in 9 to Ferbey, and got 3 more in 10, all done on some great draw shots.
Those player comparisons are brought to you by Nokia, the official wireless phone of the Season of Champions. Ray, during the break, I was saying to Linda, how 2 shots can be so different for Mark Dacey. There he makes the first one, a little rub, and the roll right to the nose. The perfect freeze. Couldn't have put it down there himself any better. And then on his second one, which is just as crucial, he misses to the outside, and he misses on the wrong side of the stone. How different those 2 shots were.
Well, you're right, Vic. I mean, they were very similar shots. I mean, you couldn't be light on the last one, but you just had to get to the nose of it so that you were, that you were actually going to be second shot, and then they couldn't double you out. They were very similar shots, and one, I think Linda may be right. He may have taken a touch too much ice. Ice didn't look too bad to me, but he got it outside, inside out a little bit, I think. I'm guessing a bit, but I think, and it just ran and rode right down there, ran straight down there.
Boy, does that 4 just absolutely leap off the scoreboard. Germany leading 8-4 as we play in the 8th, and executing very well, Linda.
And I told you before that this German team is very good at hitting, and if you were looking at this and saying, well, what do we want Daniel to play, for example, it's draws. Definitely he hasn't played that badly during round-robin play, but he has the edge, and Bruce Lonis, who was so steady at the Brier, struggling a little bit in this semifinal game.
We gotta go way over.
But the fact that Germany is so good at the hitting game, Vic, you know what that means. Tough to come back on a team that clearly have shown they're not willing to keep rocks in play, and definitely have shown they know how to get rid of them.
Halfway long.
Should be lots, guys.
Easy.
Lots of weight.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Really tight.
If anything, the experience of the Brier and experience generally, Ray, should tell this Canadian team, don't go for it all at once. You're going to have your chances. You may, if there's a nose hit here or a roll to the center, you just take one step at a time. You can't get all 4 back in one end.
Yeah, I think for sure. I mean, if you could get a deuce here, if you can work around to get a deuce, you're in 2 down and try and steal in 9 if you get a chance. I mean, yeah, I mean, we've seen comebacks. As you say, 8-4. It was the same score we saw at the Brier, but and this end, they're just not getting anything to work for them at all. And of course, as I say, that first rock slipping in by Andrew, unfortunately, really put the Germans in this defensive position. And Linda's pointed out, and everybody here pointed out, I mentioned to you earlier that Don Pottinger, the American coach, had said to me that, Ray, this German team can play, and they can hit. They hit well, and we're seeing an example of that right now.
Line's good. T-line or past it.
Bruce Lonis and his final stone here in 8th.
How's the weight? Good. Whoa, room.
They're desperately trying to find a way to use those stones that are
Just
well
good to go.
over as far as corner guards go, Vic.
Whoa, hard. Whoa. Close now, hard. Way back, hard.
They sneak a piece behind. They'll take it back.
And the difficulty, we have a wide sheet of ice. You've got some room over there, even though the corner guards are so far over. The big problem, Ray told us, it will not climb over to that far side of the 12-foot. So you've got a really difficult position where you can't use those yellow stones very effectively. Mark is just desperately looking for ways to get something going here.
Sebastian Stock.
Rüber! Alles, weiter. Wieder rausgehen.
Oh, ho.
And this is a fairly dramatic picture being painted of a very young skip, Sebastian Stock, having a great semifinal, 84%. He's made some big shots, and Mark Dacey is just struggling. Last end, he had a beautiful shot set up in his first and couldn't make the last, and that's been the story, Vic, just not the consistency we've seen from Mark in the past.
And it runs the whole team, actually.
Definitely, that's not Mark. They were sitting 6, wasn't it, at one point?
Yeah.
Sebastian didn't roll out on that hit attempt, so there is one rock. That stone that Sebastian threw is at the back of the house, so Mark will try and use it.
Right down on top.
Try the freeze.
It's good. Doesn't need much. Room. What do you got? Room. Whoa if you can. Whoa for line. Whoa for line. Whoa for line. Whoa for line. Whoa, let it go. Right off. Get ready. Whoa line. Whoa line. Hard.
And he'll come up half a stone short. We mentioned yesterday that the World Curling Federation is going to adopt the Page playoff system beginning next year because of the addition of 2 more teams at both the women's and the men's World Championship. The women will play in Paisley. They're going to split the worlds again. They're going to play in Paisley just outside of Glasgow, and the Ford men's worlds will be in Victoria next year. And so as a result, going to 12 teams, they're going to use the Page system, which right now the Page system would look pretty good to Mark Dacey, Ray.
Yeah, you're not kidding. This is, you know, as we talked about it earlier in the opening, it's all you want to do is get into the semifinal and Mark when you come to the Worlds, because unfortunately then it's sudden death, and he's got a tough road ahead of him now.
Sure does. So playing for the blank. Take the hammer to 9 and see what he can do.
Yep, hard, real hard. Length.
The worst thing would be to hang around. And he will not. So the Canadians will keep the hammer. The last rock. Is there another big finish, or is Stock rising?
It's been restyled inside and out. But don't let the new look fool you. The 2005 Ford Escape can get you out of the city. Can you get the city out of you? The new 2005 Ford Escape, Canada's #1 selling compact SUV, just got better.
phones from Nokia, the world's #1 maker of wireless phones. They put a new spin on everything you do. Nokia, connecting people.
What makes Standard Life different is that no matter what I do for you,
I really stand by what I say. I really believe in what I'm doing.
So whether you need a financial or an insurance product,
you will know what to expect.
Because having standards, not just talking about them, but living by them.
That's us.
I give you my word. We give you our word.
Keeping our word is Standard. Standard Life. Investments and insurance for groups and individuals.
What you see before you is nothing less than the most refined, the most sophisticated, the most uncompromising gas grill we've ever created. A gas grill designed for extraordinary performance. Because to grill the perfect steak, you need the perfect grill. Broil King. Great barbecues every time.
I used to swim like a fish. Now I swim to stay healthy. But when I've neglected my diet, I've relied on the science of Centrum daily for complete vitamin and mineral support. Centrum helps make my day complete.
When you have a migraine, you can try and turn the world off. Or turn to Advil Liquid Gels for liquid fast migraine relief.
With ordinary lawn fertilizers, you could be taking a chance. Sure, you get nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium particles, but just how many land exactly where is random. So your lawn could burn. Luckily, there's Scott's Turf Builder, the only fertilizer with a patented all-in-one particle. Each particle has the essential nutrients to feed your lawn evenly, with no burning guaranteed. For a thick green lawn, go with the sure thing. Scott's Turf Builder, and get a better lawn in every bag.
You've been waiting to do this for years. Don't let arthritis pain keep you from not starting a little something, not making your move, not getting physical, not putting it together, not spicing things up, not loving the moment, not going for it all the way. Grab some Tylenol arthritis pain with 1 layer for fast relief and a 2nd layer that delivers relief for up to 8 hours. It's the Tylenol for arthritis pain.
The World Hockey Championships begin on TSN Sunday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, 11 a.m. Pacific, and the Canadians will open against Austria. The World Hockey Championships here on TSN. And right now it's the World Curling Championships and the semifinal. And Germany leading by 4 as we go to the 9th. First stone from the Germans went through. That corner on the right-hand side went up from Andrew Gibson. Germans missed the tick. Another corner went up, and that was the stone you just saw removed by the German second, Marcus Mesencel.
So some guards to work with, and you have to decide when you're going to play into the rings and make some decisions about the sequence of shots. If you can get a couple of corner guards up, you have an opportunity with mistakes to get a 3-ender.
Lean in, lean in. Lean in, Andy. Okay, good. Nice sweeping, guys.
Ray, are there any tricky spots on this ice? Would you put guards anywhere, realizing again that this German team can hit very well?
Well, one thing, it's a good question, Vic. One thing I would not do is put them too far over. I would do exactly what Colleen did yesterday. Granted, the ice was a lot straighter yesterday than it was today, but I would keep the guards closer to the center of the 8-foot, not protecting the 12-foot, because yes, there's more curl on the ice, but we just saw when we were coming this way, clearly it is harder to get something to move into the 12-foot area. It's like I said yesterday in the reading the ice section, it's almost like the ice is dished a little bit. So I would definitely keep my guards in the middle of the 8-foot, edge of the 4-foot, as opposed to over on protecting the 12-foot. And I think Mark's playing these a little bit too far over. Time will tell.
Yeah. It's good.
So that's almost center of the 8.
But it's interesting that Germany is choosing to remove that side. Now, we don't know all the thoughts that Sebastian has, but at the moment, that guard is a little bit closer to center one, so perhaps he's feeling, Vic, that that is the most dangerous position, that that other side is a little bit wide.
Which way do you think? I gotta go that way.
There's my point, Victor. You see, if that guard is just over a little bit further, you'd have the option of going from the outside in around it. We have seen some play. Granted, the Mark's last one down there ran pretty straight. But even on the other side, if it's over a bit further, and I don't know where you're sitting, but that one was the last rock they ran off was protecting the corner of the 8 foot only.
Right.
Well, you got room. Weight's good. Room. Whoa. Close. Finish it.
So here they come in, trying to set up their deuce.
Go, Mark. Finish it. Finishing it all? Little, yeah.
A little. Yeah, a little. But point well made, Ray. If you take that stone, the guard, and move it a foot and a half closer to center line, then you've got something to really work with.
You got it, my friend.
19 years, I got it. Finally, he's saying.
Now, Germany is grooming this very tight, probably expecting to get the guard off. Ooh, but got it by. A good play. You have to be careful with those so you just don't feather the front.
And I'll say it again about the gentlemanliness of the game. There is Mark Dacey. Down by 4. He still has the decency to turn to Herberg and say, nice shot.
Finish it. Hard. Stay on, Randy.
You see, Vic, that just does not finish. No. I mean, they missed the guard by about 4 inches, but it just didn't break into that 12-foot. And that's one thing we have seen all week, that the ice seems to be just a tiny bit dished, and it just will not finish into the 12-foot. So not to be too repetitive, the guard has to be a little closer, as Colleen did yesterday, keeping them a little more centered to the 8-foot.
Looking for Eddie's guard, I just picked early.
Oh, a little comment there that maybe tells a bit of a story, too. We just heard that Mark say something about Andrew's guard maybe grabbing something and thus over-curling.
Oh. You almost hold your breath on every one of those. But they're true shooters today, the Germans. Well, isn't this interesting, Ray? They're going to go to the other turn.
Yeah, that's another reason why you just like a little bit more room than having to go out into the fifth, into the middle of that area between the rings and the boards.
The only good thing, Ray, is they do have a little bit extra room on this wider sheet of ice, so they've got a little bit of ice out there to work with.
What do you think out here?
You don't have quite as much at home. You're right, Lou.
45, 50? 60? Maybe not.
You're way out there.
Mark Dacey in his first.
You gotta go. Yep. You sure? Room. No, you're not. Close. Weight's good. A little up. Yep. Hard. Hard. Room. Hard. Way back. Way back. Hard. 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 Way back. Hard.
Good brushing to drag it to the 12. And how frosty is it out there? And how crucial was that brushing?
Well, there's a little bit of frost, but the frost is not the factor at all. That was good brushing, and they got it there, and it did move a little bit after it got by the guard. This is not a routine hit for sure, Lou.
Ja, genau, der. Den.
Now he's talking about maybe running the one out in front into it, Ray, just not taking any chances on perhaps ticking that front one.
I think this is the easier of the two hits, too. I think he's right. I mean, to pick that one out of there is a tough shot. They could have maybe even tried that come around earlier in the end, even though the rock was over a bit. But so this is a run-back peel, trying to get the red off.
In hindsight, Ray, would you have played that turn, that come around, maybe a stone or two earlier to use the guard?
Yes, for sure, I would have, Vic. I would have tried it earlier. I wouldn't have put the guard over that far, but maybe Andrews Rock did catch something.
Stock trying to run it back. Run it back. Has he got it? No. And so the Canadians now will have a chance to get two here in the ninth.
That was very close to being made. He's an accurate hitter, but just off a little bit. And German Stone will not take out the other Canadian rock. That gives Mark Dacey a chance for the draw. And this is all you can do is plug away, Vic. And remember the 4-rock rule. You can get a couple of guards out in front and really go for the steal.
So put it in the paint.
Hard. Go hard.
For two.
Can't hurt it. Hard.
Harris.
It's clean now.
Gibson. Just clean now, says Dacey.
Hard.
Get the 2 and go to 10 and try and steal your way into an extra. The Canadians will trail by a couple. Germany has the hammer. They still have control. Most importantly, they have the lead.
At some point, every truck company has to ask themselves, do we want the bed to stay on the truck or not? 6 induction hardened carriage bolts mounted on the hydroform laddered frame of the new F-150. Say yes. What does your truck say?
Just in time for Mother's Day. Spring is here, that time of year when you'll do anything for love.
My boyfriend said I was getting fat.
Being Prime Minister, I could just have him murdered.
No matter how embarrassing.
How long have you been in love with Carl?
Do you think everybody knows?
Yes.
Buy Love Actually on DVD or VHS and get $5 off the soundtrack. See inside for mail-in offer.
Why don't you come back and sleep at our place? All we have is one little bed.
Praise the Lord. Love Actually. Own and give the DVD and video Tuesday.
You gelling? No telling how much I'm gelling. You gelling? You know I'm gelling. Hey, Ellen, you gelling?
I'm gelling. You want some melon?
Nah, but hey, I'm like mud gelling. I'm so gelling.
Nice.
Are you gelling yet? Dr. Scholl's massaging gel insoles are made from the softest gel ever created. If you and your shoes don't feel outrageously comfortable, you get your money back. Guaranteed.
I'm gelling. You're not gelling. You're so not gelling.
Are you gelling? Dr. Scholl's.
The guides are here to replace the picture window.
Oh, I asked them to look at the broken windshield, too.
Next time, insist on someone you can trust. Speedy Glass. Now earn 100 Air Miles reward miles. Plus, you could win 10,000 reward miles. If it's glass, we fix it right.
Right now, you can pick up a Steel FS38 trimmer for just $169.95 at a Steel dealer near you. Get real power. Steel. Built to last. Price to sell. It's going to be the biggest curling event ever held anywhere in the world. The 2005 Brier in Edmonton. In celebration of Alberta's centennial year, we invite curling fans from coast to coast, and especially those whose family roots are deep in Alberta, to be there for the draw of the century. The 2005 Brier in Edmonton, the largest 9-day gathering of sports fans that you might ever see. Reserve your place in history now.
So what's it like being raised Italian?
Well, my parents, when they don't want me to know what they're saying, they speak in Italian. She doesn't know what boys are like. She thinks she's all grown up. Like I don't know a word of Italian.
What else is being raised Italian? A rising crescendo of Italian taste and aromas. Introducing Crescendo Rising Crust Pizza from McCain. Nothing says raised Italian like Crescendo.
So, What our boys like. Perfecto.
Well, Linda, we go to the 10th now. The Canadians are down by 2, and boy, look at the difference in the numbers.
Yeah, Germany, they've out-curled Canada. They've gotten the deuces set up with the hammer. They got the 4, the only big end Canada gave up all week. The 4 or more has been in this semi-final. It's been a little bit nervous, Canada, in my opinion, but it's been a great performance by Germany so far. And Canada's got to put out all the stops and try and get a steal of not just 1, but 2.
First stone from Andrew Gibson went up center guard. They tried the tick, the Germans missed it. The second stone is in the free guard zone as well. Now the Germans trying another tick. Ray, the question the Canadians had during the break in their little team discussion was, what do we do with, as they tick it over, very nice shot, and it just stays outside the rings. What do we do with our guards? And the question, of course, from Dacey's point of view is, if we put it up center, do we go right to the button? Do we race to the button, or do we use the 2 guards?
Well, you're asking, Vic, and I'm going to tell you, I think that it was absolutely... Mark did call to go around with the second one. I would not have done that. I would have put another guard up on the center line. Yes, they can play the tick on that, but the other one would have still been there. I don't like when you have to steal 2 in particular. I don't like going around with the first one. You know, there's only 1 rock out in front, so I just don't understand it, to be honest.
Well, Ray, I agree with you completely. The discussion was we don't want to leave Germany, a good hitting team, a double peel sometime during the end. But in my opinion, when you're down 2 and you're desperate for steals, you've got to risk and put those rocks out in front. And you've got to realize that the opposition, Vic, might be a little nervous in this position where they're potentially moving on to a final, and they might not make that double peel.
Okay. Okay. But at some point, we've got to raise something.
Yeah, I was thinking on Rob's to throw that corner guard, and then on yours we tap one of them in.
Yeah.
And then tap the other one in on the next one.
Okay.
That's guard one of those 2 so that there's no double peels.
Oh, turn corner. We got to try to protect those a bit. Those 2 rocks. We're going to have to split them at some point. The best we're going to do is lie 3 at this point. Just over. 78.
So everything changes, Vic, with that tick being made and the Canadian stones wide. What Mark is saying, if I put up center guards, there are easier double peels, the center guard onto one of the other 2 guards. And at the moment, those wide guards, although they're not in a great spot, are the only chance that Canada has to get some rocks into the house and put some pressure on Germany.
And after this peel is made, depending on where the shooter goes, of course, the Canadian plan is what, Ray? Oh.
At some point, Vic, they're going to have to use those corner guards to draw around. If you look at the position and how things have turned around, no centerline guards changes the steal opportunity in the centerline 4-foot button area to something where you're hoping come-arounds on those wide rocks. Putting 2 or 3 stones just adds the element of pressure by the stones in play rather than the position in the house.
Come on, just a tiny bit more.
It's a very tough position for Canada.
Boy, big drag, big drag, big drag, and they'll get it over. Now, maybe I misinterpreted. Ray, I thought they were going to start bumping those 2 stones close to the rings in on Rob's shots, or are they going to wait to Bruce Lonis before tapping them up?
Yeah, it looks like they're going to wait. Victor, a little bit. Obviously, they'd like very much to make the Germans team play some kind of a draw as opposed to a hit. They haven't played, Sebastian himself hasn't played very many draws at all, so it's desperation.
They come very close to getting that stone on the left side of the house.
Tap back, T-line. What was that? T-line. Yeah.
So now they're tapping, Vic.
Tap and roll, or tap and sit there, Ray, do you think?
It's pretty good.
I think they're trying to tap it straight back. They could split this on, of course, and have two in the rings, but it would be probably set up a pretty easy double, and we know, we just finished saying that with the Germans love to play the hits. That just would not curl, and
Feeling den halb, dann haben wir beide. Okay. Der ist auch nicht drin.
Half, and we'll get them both, and that one on the outside isn't in.
Ja!
All the way.
Okay. Rüber, rüber. Yep, yep. Ruhig rüber.
So the shooter hangs around.
Try it again.
Freeze top, don't we? We play for two is all we're
You can freeze the other one if you want.
draw around it.
Well, if you think back to the Briar and the way that Mark Dacey generated some points, I'm not opposed to playing a freeze or a come around on that Yellowstone. Remember, Bruce Lonis in that Briar final made some amazing come arounds in stones that were in the house, and the come around wasn't easy.
I would definitely play the come around, Linda. I mean, making the perfect freeze is the perfect freeze is very difficult, and we know it will come with this outside in. They can get it tucked around here. We've seen Bruce make this kind of shot before. I would definitely go around it, yeah.
And it will hang around, not for shot stone. Germans are still shot top 8.
Mal wen? Daniel. Weiter ins Haus. Mach mal ein Timeout. Timeout.
And they'll use their second. What's got them worried here, Ray?
Well, they want to play the. I think Sebastian wants to play the rock straight back onto it, and that's what I would play for sure. And I don't know why they're really calling the timeout. I would run that yellow one back onto the stone that's in the back of the 12-foot. They could try and pick it too. You can see a corner of it.
He's not hitting. He's hitting the outside.
Ich weiß halt, als nächstes macht halt den Freeze.
Ja, genau. Dann gibt er seine eigene Pause. Mag ich nicht. Ja, den schieben, also den weg. Den weg und vielleicht läuft da hinten mit. Ja, den würde ich probieren.
Er ist halt weniger als halb.
What's the worst, Linda, that could happen for Germany, and the best situation for the Canadians on the next shot?
Well, Canada needs rocks in play, so obviously Canada's hoping that whatever Germany does, they still leave some of the red rocks around for Mark to try and use. I think Germany's trying to decide, Ray, if they are going to play their own back or take another one of the Canadians off and try and keep a couple yellows in the house.
Soll ich noch mal ins Haus rollen? Ja, okay. Ja, von wo magst du?
So it looks like they're going to play this and maybe roll in instead of playing the shot we said where they could try and run back the yellow one.
Daniel Herberg with a little bit of a wobble. Now they are grouped together. They are overlapped. Does this look familiar?
I was just thinking that, Vic. But there's just, unfortunately, there's only 2 rocks left. Mark's going to have to make both of them count big time, and then I don't know if you can't get shot rock.
Well, then they only have 1 in the ring. Try to kill number 7.
Yeah, you know what I'm thinking is this.
Play here. He's got a guard there.
Yeah. And then we come off that.
You can't get them both.
Yeah,
How you get them both off?
You think
that?
he's guard?
You're right, Mark. You're right.
Yeah. You can't. Yeah, he's guarded. That's a shot.
Yep. Who's going to guard our back one?
Ford.
Okay.
Now, Linda, when Rob Harris came down, his first thought was, let's go behind. And then with the second one, if possible, and they're still sitting out there, then we play the double on the yellow.
Got to try to kill one of those and then roll out.
I don't think that sequence is going to work for Canada. I agree with Mark. I think you have to remove one of the yellows now, leave one of them still protecting the redstone at the back of the house, and roll the shooter, the one Mark's playing, behind cover. You know, have 2 redstones still in the house, both covered, and you still have a chance on your last one to try and force Sebastian into a tougher shot.
Looking for the roll here, Vic, behind the corner.
Whoa. Wow. Whoa. Whoa. Wow. Yeah. Yeah. Hard. Whoa. Whoa. Whoa.
Move that much.
It's now.
Took off on him, he says. Snapped on him.
Best I could do at that point.
Yeah.
Once we had too much nose, I was just trying to keep something there. Yeah.
Not setting up now for the Canadians, it would seem, right?
No, I mean, they can definitely make Sebastian throw his last rock, but it'll be some kind of a wide open hit, I would expect.
Was passiert, wenn wir auf Seite legen? Ja, komm schnell den. Ist alles klar? Ja? Geht am besten reinbauen.
He's just trying to angle the redstone, pick it out.
Ja! 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 Out!
Hoffman, Mesencel. What a nice shot.
Noch einer, Jungs.
And Sebastian Stock realizes he's that much closer now to getting Germany into the final against Sweden on Sunday. Earlier, the Swedes were winners over Norway. Heya Lindberg, a winner over Paul Trulsen.
Roll your way, Andy Wheeler.
We saw Paolinto make a great attempt to steal. Paul Trulsen had a chance to win that semifinal and couldn't make the draw. Here, it looks like a great performance by Germany can put them into the final. All they have now, Vic, is an open hit. Exactly what you would want, if this young German skip is so good at the hitting game. This would be your perfect shot if you were him going down the ice right now.
And disappointment for the Canadian wives. Heather Smith-Dacey was on the right-hand side there, Mark's wife. Lainey Peters, Rob's wife, was there in the middle. A great week, undefeated. And they came out flat, all of them, in this semifinal. Germany looking for the hit. Sebastian Stock, and the Germans are going to the final. Mark Dacey will now play for the bronze medal. As the Germans advance, we'll play Sweden, Pia Lindholm, and Canada will meet Norway, and Paul Truelsen for the bronze medal. The final 9-6 as the Germans upset Canada in the men's semi at the Ford Worlds.
The 2004 Ford World Curling Championships from Sweden are brought to you by Karcher. You'll look for things to clean. By Nokia, official wireless phone of the Season of Champions. And by Ford, built for life in Canada.
They say football is a game of inches. I wish we had inches.
The Scott Tournament of Hearts, proud sponsor of women's curling for 23 years.
The stage is set for another battle.
From Europe they'll be coming to win the battle at the hat. But you know the North Americans will have no part of that.
Get ready, curling fans.
The score right now is one apiece. There's no letting down. Competition will be fierce in old Medicine Town.
Continental Cup 2004. This is the grudge match for all the bragging rights. Get your tickets now and wait for the Rocks to start flying in November.
Honey,
Yeah?
the guides are here to replace the picture window.
Oh, I asked them to look at the broken windshield, too.
How long have they been doing this?
I don't know. They said on the phone they were fully qualified.
Next time, call someone you can trust to do it right. Speedy Glass. We've been replacing glass in homes and cars since 1946. Now earn 100 air miles reward miles. Plus, you could win 10,000 reward miles. If it's glass, we fix it right.
I can go east.
I can do absolutely nothing.
I can go west.
I can have a snowball fight in July.
We can eat things we can't even pronounce.
I can cannonball!
I can feast with my friends.
I can stand where no one has stood before.
I can do Europe next year!
I can do anything here in Canada.
OK Tire proudly carries Kumho tires. Kumho tires, the smooth, superior formula technology. For a chance to win, take a spin to OK Tire. Local performance is daily at over 230 locations across Canada.
Complete listings, community information, maps, and more. Super Pages, your TELUS directory.
A DVD player in a pickup. What will they think of next? An energy-absorbing reinforced steel cage to protect the passengers watching the DVD player. That's what.
NHL playoffs continue on TSN today at 3 Eastern Time, 12 Pacific. Game 2 from San Jose. The Sharks are up by a game on the Avalanche. And so that ends a 20th year of curling broadcasts here on TSN. Our thanks to our crews right across the country, the hard-working men and women who have joined us for all the games, both in our country and, of course, in Sweden. We thank you for all your hard work. On behalf of Linda and Ray and all of us, we thank you for joining us again. And we wish the best of luck to Colleen Jones later today in the gold medal against Norway and Doherty Nordby. And the best of luck to Mark Dacey and his team against Norway and Paul Truelsen in the bronze tomorrow. Ladies and gentlemen, it has been a pleasure again to be with you our entire season of champions, 6 months in length, and you've been with us all the way. Have a wonderful off season. Thanks for joining us here on TSN, Canada's sports leader.